Experience tranquility.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another amazing match here at the Overwatch Tranquility Tournament. Tonight, we will see the start of the Season 4 playoffs for the Transcendence tier with Venomous versus Corvidity, as in the shadows, three other pairs of teams will be going at it in their own playoff matches, of which we will check in upon throughout the night. I'm your play-by-play for the evening, Captain Jack, joined by Bard on analyst Mr. Cavalier Esquire in the production booth, and Triage coming in on the desk. Bard, what do you think we should be expecting from these two teams tonight?
Well, we should be expecting a match, and that is actually very important between these two teams and in Transcendence tier, because there's been a lot of forfeits in Transcendence tier, and there's probably I don't want to say there's going to be more going forward, but there might be. But this is the first time these two teams will have played each other, so I think it's going to be really important to see how they decide to match up, what kind of tank and DPS lineups they try and bring, with the hit scan being so limited this week. I do expect to see some Ashe. I expect to see some Echo. And I wouldn't be surprised if we maybe saw a little bit of classic dive tonight.
Yeah, if we don't see any Echo action tonight, that's going to be incredibly surprising. It looks like we're already going to get started on our first map of the evening, Helios. So let's go ahead and introduce our starting lineup. For Venomous, we've got Mistro, Absent, PDK Kid, Levi, Manio, and Fine. And for the side of Corvidity, we've got Melts, Jackrabbit, Sorcery Pepe, Legs, Dead Optics, and Kyo Satine, or Kyo Satan, coming in on those heels right there. So let's go ahead and see what kind of lineup we have coming in for these teams, Bard.
Yeah, we have the classic Rhine Diva coming out of Venomous. That's a really strong comp here, and the May Reaper is just great for Brawl. You get in there and you body really hard. Absent playing the Ana, I really like. Even with Moira in rotation, Ana has so much healing and utility. And we're going to see the classic dive with Genji Echo coming out from the side of Corvidity, which I really like.
All right, let's see if they can make it happen. Venomous already taking control of the objective with a sleeping Levi just hanging out behind the shield right there. The Mei wall comes up looking to separate out some of the damage from Sorcery Pepe, taking the side with the laser, ends up getting the DMAC right there as they move their way into the objective. Levi going to get the first pick onto Dead Optics, though, as the anti-nade gets straight in onto PDK Kid. Control now being held by Venomous, with the fight continuing on as Melt's able to get the double dash kill with a punch, making it a triple, still cleaning up the objective already. The blade coming out from Melt's takes down Levi and Mistro, and control of the objective will quickly swap over to Corvidity.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'd love to see coming out of the classic dive comp here. Dead Optics and Legs have actually swapped the tank lineup here after knowing that they were going to be countered so hard by that May Reaper. PDK Kid also swapping over the Doomfist here, but just slow, methodical gameplay. Melt's playing that Genji that he's known for, playing smart around the enemy team and just diving in when he sees the opportunity to get damage, and that's exactly what you want to see.
Oh, double shatters coming in right there as we see Sorcery Pepe swapping over to that Rhine in the ultimate. 30% and climbing right now for Corvidity as they go ahead and clear the point once again.
Yeah, and this Echo, Sorcery Pepe finalizing that late stagger there onto Absence Ana. The Echo is gonna just be a huge pick here. She has a lot of utility, a lot of dueling. She does a ton of shield break if you play her right, and she can flank so easily. Echo really could just be the match decider here. Which team can play Echo more confidently, which team can play Echo more competently. That really could just decide which team wins at this level.
All right, right, let's see what they can make happen. Fine, looking to see if they can take to the side as the Shatter ends up taking down Sorcery. Pepe Mestro will solidify that with a Fire Strike, also following up onto Dead Optics and Keo right there. They are cleaning up the objective right now. As we hit the 75% mark, we will see Control swap over to Venomous.
Yeah, great combo there. The Shatter coming out of Reinhardt just to secure the Echo kill. We just talked about how much damage she does, how much she can really do to shut an enemy team down. Using the Nano to get the extra Rein damage and let Mistro just go on a tear there after taking the Echo down. No shield necessary anymore. And Sorcery Pepe, though, is going to...
They're coming in right now. The beat drop to lead in. Keo sending in a beat of their own as the Shatter comes in, but the Graviton securing all of Venomous right there as they go ahead and clean everything up. Control is going to swap back over to Corvidity, and yes, OMFG secret, Maestro. I forgot about that from our last match with Venomous. Maestro is who's playing on the tank this evening. And now we've got a fat Shatter looking to get rezzed in there from Sorcery Pepe coming in on the Rhine. That Shatter comes in looking to do some damage as the Blossom now coming out ends up getting anti-nated to oblivion by Jack Rabbit as they go ahead and clear the objective again. And it looks like Venomous looking to hold on, or sorry, Corvidity hold on with that beautiful flight between that Echo and Genji, grabbing objective number 1 as we continue our fight on Helios. Alrighty then, it seems like we're a little quiet in the booth right now as we head on over to, it looks like Bard's having some issues there. We'll go ahead and get Bard back in here. Triage, you hanging out there in the booth somewhere?
Yeah, all good. Bard dipped out there just before the end of that last round. That was impressive watching Corvidity go against Venomous. I love watching the Echo play.
That was absolutely huge, and it looks like Melt's swapping over to the Doomfist instead of the Genji this time around. Absent and Levi, well, actually, all of Venomous swapping over to this dive composition now to match up with what we saw from Corvidity during round 1 as we head into Widow's Playground. We're getting ready to see the objective unlock as we see Venomous going for the deep dive, heading into the back line. Fine Ore getting the D-Mech and the kill onto PDK Kid right there as Melts and Jackrabbit just go ahead and clean things up. Corvidity gonna go ahead and take flight once again by taking control of the objective.
That was impressive. Corvidity knew exactly what Venomous was doing there, so they just backed up and they dove in, but then they waited for Venomous to come back in and they just surrounded them and collapsed on them with that Echo Doomfist, and that was beautiful.
Hey Bard, you back with us?
Hey.
I am back with you. That is the perils of internet.
Yep, gotta love it. Dead
Welcome
Optics getting the first pick onto Maestro right there as they go ahead and try to dive back into the action. Melt's getting singled out but able to get away as Fine and Sorcery trading blows right off the objective, 33% and climbing right now as we now see Levi, the lone tracer right now, trying to see if they can get some picks in the backline. Oh! Levi getting the double kill there. Melt's using that uppercut at the wrong time, ends up taking down Sorcery with the pulse bomb in tow. Maestro back in the fight, ends up getting the pick onto Jack Rabbit as they go ahead and take control of the objective at the 53% mark. Oh yeah, we gotta get Bard back in here.
Yeah, as soon as I get back in here, then I can start
Yeah, I'm gonna get him back in.
My bad. 14% and climbing right now for the side of Venomous, and it seems that their dive is working out a little bit better this time around with PDK Kid now coming back in as the Sombra. But Diva Bomb coming in from legs, looking to see if it can get a couple of picks to start things off. Gonna end up being unsuccessful there as Sorcery gets the first pick onto Manio. Absent coming out with the Coalescence, but the beat drop from Keo will go ahead and hold everything together. EMP and Diva Bomb coming out from both Fine and PDK, but the Meteor Strike from Melts will go ahead and take down Fine before the remake ends up happening. They're looking to try to take control as percentages matching right now with Venomous taking the lead. Levi trying to hold control of the objective as the lone Tracer being rejoined by the rest of the team. Absent able to get that pick onto Melts as they continue to hold the high ground, and it looks like Venomous will be able to get back into the action with PDK Kid already having another EMP online.
Yeah, and I can't even see the game, but I can tell you just right off the bat that Sombra is an absolutely phenomenal counter to Echo. Completely shuts down the entire utility that Echo brings, completely cuts off any flank or escape potential that she has, and just can win those duels 1v1 with her if you get the hack off before she can see you.
And that might have been what we had seen earlier. I didn't even realize that was probably Sorcery coming in as Sombra with the ultimate right there. Now we're seeing PDK Kid using that EMP, getting the 4-man as the Coalescence comes out from Absent. Maestro ends up falling to Sorcery at the start of the fight, though, but gets traded out by Keo. But it is a continued battle right now. Sorcery holding on to half health, looking to see if they can get some additional picks. Will be successful, but falls to PDK Kid, the only one left near the objective as control swaps over to the side of Corvidity. Now, right now, they are having a very difficult time trying to hold this all together, and especially with Melts coming back in on that Tracer and another configuration ultimate coming up for Sorcery. How do you think that will change the rest of this fight there, Bard?
Well, I really would love to see Sorcery change over to the Sombra here. It's really easy to build up the EMP there and just win a fight with it, but as I say that, 2 picks get taken up by Fine, and PDK Kid takes down Jackrabbit, so maybe Sorcery's right to get the Lucio there and play a bit more defensively.
Yep, it looks like that's what they're going to use. Their beat drop coming in from Sorcery as they wear out there at the end. Diva Bomb from Legs just trying to hold on to the objective to get up to that 99 v 99 as Absent able to get the pick onto Sorcery. Dead Optics trading Mania with that boop as the Pulse Bomb coming in from Levi. Absent following up with the Coalescence, looking to see if they can keep the objective cleared long enough for them to grab it, but continuing to come in and out as Keo as they go ahead and get picked off from Absent. EMP coming in once again from PDK, just looking to get picks one after another. Maestro and Absent go ahead and clear up the objective, tying it up here on the Ruins 1-1 as we head into our final map of this beginning match.
Yeah, and that really just is the power of the Sombra on your side there. Some excellent hacks onto the tanks, let you focus them down there, especially Dead Optics on the Winston. He got hacked and just could do nothing there as the Moira ult was burning into him, and then the EMP really just secured the point for his team. PDK Kid with a 900 IQ swap there, I think. It really mitigated the Echo, really mitigated the tank line, put enough damage in there, because she does have that new, well, not quite new, but the tighter spray than what she used to have. It's really just a lot of really good damage here, and I do like the PDK Kid swap over to Echo here, and Levi on the Torbjorn, that's a great Echo swap when hit scans are out. That turret can just apply pressure on her when she's in the air, and you get to frontline with your team. It really is just a great pick.
All right, well, we've got heroes in the sky as well as boots on the ground as we see Legs and Dead Optic opting for the Hog Rissa we typically see on Well, as Sorcery getting the first pick onto PDK with the laser already. We see the Rhine Sigma fighting its way into the side room under the tower right now, looking to see if they can get an initial pick. But Levi gonna get taken down in the back line by Sorcery once again, just kind of going in and out as this Echo using that Sky skill, always getting in and out very quickly right there. But it looks like PDK Kid coming in on that Reaper, just gonna go ahead and clean up the point solo while everyone else is trying to deal with Sorcery. So, and that is going to be a quick configuration change right there. Came in on the Lucio, but then immediately taken out by the Rock. Control held on and captured by Venomous.
Yeah, and that really isn't so much a good flank by PDK Kid as it's just bad positioning and positional awareness, map awareness by Corvidity there. They just backed themselves right up into the Reaper. PDK Kid really didn't have to think too hard about flanking there or do too much to get behind them. He just gets down there and just lays in the damage for free.
And it looks like Levi's looking to try to match the power right there of PDK as we see the cleanup coming in. Coalescence gain the final picks right there with the help of Levi and PDK as they go ahead and continue their percentage climb here on the well. And it seems that we're seeing another push in. Melt swapping over to the Doomfist right there. Looking to see if they can get some punches in, but I have to be a little cautious unless they use it here on the side. It's going to be advantageous to avoid the big old hole in the middle. Levi does get the double kill with the Molten Core, though, as we see Legs trying to get the sneaky capture of the objective. Almost grabs it, but then has to get off the objective to regroup with the rest of the team. 73% and climbing right now as we see the fight getting ready to ensue. Once again, we are headed into final fight territory, folks. The Sorcery able to get the turret in the back line. Now we're seeing Sorcery come back in on another run, gets the shatter, make it a double, coming in from Dead Optics as well as they go ahead and clean up the objective with the help of Jackrabbit on that Batiste. At the 96% mark, we'll go ahead and see control swap over to Corvidity.
Yeah, that's just another great play coming out of Sorcery Pepe here. He's looked absolutely dominant on this Echo tonight. He's definitely looked better than the Echo coming out of the side of Venomous, but he has looked like he can be countered, especially with this Torbjorn here. Levi's been able to put a ton of pressure on him, and that turret has to be the first pick for Sorcery before he can actually come in and put pressure on the team.
And that's exactly what we see once again from Sorcery, but PDK able to get that pick very quickly as they try to escape. Fine coming in with a gravitic flux of their own, able to take down Melts, and the rest of the team just falling like a stack of dominoes. The only one left to touch is Keo as they end up swapping control back over, but no one's going to be able to touch in time. Venomous starting out with their first victory of the evening here on Helios.
Yeah, not the greatest start for Venomous there. They looked really lost on that first map, especially playing against Melts' Genji here, as we were seeing in this play of the game. But they looked really lost in that first round, like they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know how to counter that Echo in such close quarters, and then they kind of figured it out. They realized what they needed to play, brought it back around. They didn't let themselves get mentally boomed, which is the biggest thing when you lose a map like that, and really just looked very dominant after they kind of pulled themselves together and realized how to fix the Echo.
Well, it looks like it ended up working out for them in the end, although Echo is new and some may say is a little overpowered. It does not destroy a very communicative team that works together, and it seems that Venomous was able to bring it back, focus down that Echo as well as anything else Corvidity had to throw at them. Let's go ahead and head to the desk with Triage now. We have 3 other matches going on this evening. In the Discord division, we have Seed 13 Southlaws going against Seed 12 Illusion. In the Harmony division, we have Seed 8 Get Off My Land versus Seed. Say that again?
Oh, he just made me lobby host. All good.
Oh, versus a Seed 9 Paradise, and another in the Transcendence tier, Seed 11 Volume 51 versus Seed 14 Lynx Esports. Triage, do we have any updates on how those matches are going so far?
Well, I've yet to receive an update on the Volume 51 and Lynx Esports match. We currently have Illusion up 1-0 against the Southlaws after Nepal, and Paradise is up 1-0 after Busan against Get Off My Land.
All right. Well, that looks like a good start for them right now. Based on how you saw Venomous and Corvidity playing on Helios, What do you think we'll continue to see from these teams as we move into our next map?
Well, from Venomous, I'd really like to see PDK play more of the Reaper and the Sombra. I could see that be very helpful against Sorcery's Echo, which has been very powerful up to this point. Fine also for Venomous is a very good Sigma from what I noticed on that last map. They kept pressuring out Sorcery on their own, and they did a very good job protecting their backline whenever he tried to go in. So I'd like to see a lot more of the Sigma from him.
All right. Well, definitely something that I'd like to see as well. I feel like Sigma doesn't nearly get the love that Sigma deserves. I mean, everyone wants to swing that big old Ryan hammer, but come on, but throwing rocks and canceling ults, that there's love in that too. For our next map of the evening, we are headed to Temple of Anubis for our assault this evening. We did have a swap for the side of Corvidity. It looks like Con 204 gonna be coming in for Sorcery Pepe. So I wonder, are we gonna continue to see some of that echo action? Maybe Con might be a little bit more practiced, or are we going to be seeing some of that countering action for PDK Kid coming out? What do you think there, Bard?
Yeah, I like the Sombra here. I like the counter potential that it has, especially if Melts is going to be playing Genji and if the dive composition is actually going to be coming out from the side of Corvidity. And dive is a good idea here, though. I just want to take a moment. They're running double shield. It's the Rhine Orisa double shield. They're running Mineo and PDK Kid right now are the two strongest counters to dive, but dive is a good comp if you're gonna just jump onto double shield and try and damage them down before they can pressure you. And I think that this is probably the best chance they have of getting through here without having to try and do some serious shield break.
All right, well, let's go ahead and see if they can make it happen. I think the one thing that has me worried about it all is the fact that they're not running a Lucio for this dive. They're choosing to run the Zenyatta instead, but it could prove deadly, as we already see with that Discord and Anti-Nade. Melts getting the first pick after Khan right there, getting a double. PDK able to get the pick onto legs after the D-Mech, but by that time, it is already said and done. The dive has demolished Venomous defenses, grabbing Objective Alpha, and going to give them a whole 6 minutes to grab Objective Bravo.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I had some internet issues again. This is getting a little ridiculous.
I believe against the Bard curse that I keep seeing being popped in the chat. All right, so that was an absolutely decimated first point right there. The dive was huge, and now we're seeing the swap of dead optics and legs now over to something a little bit more traditional. Even Khan swapping over to a Reaper for second point. Do you feel like the dive wouldn't have done as well going into Objective 2?
I think Objective 2 is it's too much of a choke point. As much as you want to be able to run dive here, there's too many places you can escape on defense, and there's too many choke points you have to push through on dive where they can just pressure down the damage and defeat you before you even have a chance here. So I do really like the swaps off of dive here. I like Melts holding onto his blade and using it, and I think it's just a very strong showing from Venomous here as they boulder their way through this point.
Yeah, the hold has just been enormous right there. 5 minutes and 2 seconds for the side of Corvidity right there as they go ahead and capture objective number 2. I think the part that was surprising for me was the fact that the Molten Core was used to try to control the area, but then we saw Venomous still continuing to stay off the objective and not kind of re-engage and fight their way into retake control of objective number 2. By that point, the Molten Core had already worn off, and Corvidity just kind of continued to roll as they came in. And do you think that we're going to see something a little different for the defense, or do you think that the dive that we saw before during Ilios might not work here on Temple of Anubis for Venomous.
Yeah, well, I think we saw the strength of dive for Corvidity. This last round, we saw how it worked, but we also saw the strength of the double shield for them, and we saw how strong that Reinhardt can be pushing in here. I do like the double shield here for Corvidity. I think it's just a stronger defensive comp, but I do think that point A is really open. There's a lot of places you can stage, a lot of places you can dive in on, a lot of targets and positioning that defenders like to take that is really susceptible to dive. And so I think Venomous do have a really good chance here if they can get into those positions, stage properly, and just play dive how it's meant to be played, essentially.
All right, well, the dive is coming in, looking to take the side room right there as they go ahead and push in. Melt's already setting some on fire as the rock ends up getting the hit onto Maestro and still not being able to get in on the side. Fine ends up taking down the immortality field as Keo follows up on both Maestro and Levi legs, taking the legs under Manio right there. With that already being a 3v6 fight, we're going to see Venomous go ahead and pull out and regroup for another push.
Yeah, and I really want to highlight the healers right now on the side of Corvidity. Jackrabbit and Keo just doing everything in their power to keep their tanks up. A perfectly placed eye field there to keep legs alive and allow him to keep that pressure while his team reset in a proper position and let them stage more efficiently on double shield. And so I really just want to highlight the fantastic heal plays that came out of both of them to keep their tanks alive during that fight.
I can agree with that. Plus, the Halt accretions that continue to come out is just keeping Maestro at bay, but the Nano coming in might be enough for them to go ahead and take control of the objective. Maestro now popping the Primal Rage, ends up getting the first pick onto Jackrabbit as they go ahead and push Keo off or attempt to push Keo off the objective. The Bob ends up getting thrown into the side room right there as Levi and Maestro getting pick after pick right now, clearing objective alpha, and only a minute under what we saw for the side of Corvidity. They will now have 5 minutes to go ahead and grab objective Bravo.
Yeah, and PDK Kid had a fantastic hack going into that fight there. He got the Orisa right as she put her shield down as she was leaving point, and so there was no shield for the entirety of Venomous as they were trying to reset up on that point. They had to play around the room, and Maestro could just pop his ult and put so much free damage in there. And now he gets the hack onto legs, and they're going to know that that Sigma ult's waiting for him.
That is true, and the EMP getting ready to come online as Maestro ends up falling to Melt at the beginning of that fight. I've got to say, legs and those accretions have been really on point to keeping Maestro at bay as they aggressively push the rest of Venomous back to the spawn door.
Yeah, and this is where double shield is going to be a stronger comp. Again, there's so many choke points on this B point. It's a lot harder to stage. There's not as clear line of sights for those jumps and those dives that you want to make, and there's a lot more escape pathing for the defenders there on those squishy targets you want to hit. You want to jump on someone like Jackrabbit or Keo, take them out before they can set up to heal their team, keep them alive. And it's so hard when Jackrabbit can literally just turn the corner and be in their spawn and be safe.
All right, well, the Gravitic Flux coming out as the EMP takes over the objective. Blizzard from Khan, though, ends up getting Maestro right there, but Levi with the Nano Blade cleans up, grabs the triple. Meteor Strike now coming in from Melts, ends up getting the pick on Define after the DMAX, but legs also falling to Levi. It's the fight of the DPS as Melts ends up getting the uppercut onto Levi, but falls to PDK Kid. It is a 2v2 right now as we see Keo rejoining the fight. Go ahead and stun out and take down the rest of Venomous on the objective. All those ultimates used in another minute off the clock with nothing to show for it on the objective.
Yeah, now we're going to see Venomous swap over to having a shield tank here. Maestro's going to swap over to the Orisa. Absent's going to swap to Moira. Levi's going to swap to Hanzo, and PDK Kid's going to swap to the Mei. And it's really just going to come down to point control now. What team has more CC? What team can dominate more in those shield break matchups? What team can get into proper positions better and keep their team alive more efficiently. And on defense, you're always going to have the advantage on that when you're playing double shield versus double shield. But Hanzo does do a lot more shield break than a hero like Doomfist, who does have higher pick potential. But this Hanzo could be the key to breaking those shields a lot faster, getting those clean one ticks on their heads, getting those kills more efficiently as they go in.
Well, let's see if they can make it happen. The bongos already get dropped by Dead Optic. Is Levi able to get the picks onto Kyo Satan, but that is not going to be enough right there. Everything else is going to fall as that Maywall from Khan just separated out the team so that Corvidity could go ahead and get the picks they needed. Another minute and 15 seconds off the clock for the side of Venomous.
Yeah, a great play there from PDK Kid. We don't see it as much from the perspective, at least that I was on, but a lot of damage and freeze coming out of there, and now he's past Khan on offense. He's past the defensive May's ult charge, playing on May for less time, and that's just really impressive May gameplay right there. Typically, you assume that the defensive May has more ult charge, but PDK Kid clearly putting some good damage in there and building it up just as quickly.
The double shield trying to work its way in, ends up using the Maywall to prevent Khan from separating out the team once again, but the Gravitic Flux coming in from legs, pulls strong, and it's huge! The Meteor Strike from Melts ends up getting the triple kill with Dead Optics following up onto Maestro, and that is all she wrote right there for the objective. 58 seconds remaining on the clock as we have a pause on the field. Looks like we have a DC. Oh, no.
Yeah, I hate to see it.
DC coming in from the side of Venomous right there.
You hate to see it.
As they lose that that percentage on those bongos. But I mean, hey, if you're gonna lose an ult, I feel like bongos is one of those that you could probably do without. Like if you had lost PDK's Blizzard, that could have been huge going into this final fight.
I mean, there are two here you definitely don't want to lose, and that's PDK's Blizzard and Menyeo's Beat. Those are the two that are going to keep you in this going forward in this fight. But I gotta say, losing the bongos can be a huge deterrent. That extra damage on its own can be a fight winner. And so, I mean, if I could choose who on my team DC'd, I'd want someone like Levi, who's only 30% to his dragons, and had just used his ult and can build it really fast. I would not want the Orisa bongos to be lost. So that is going to be a big L. Makes me feel a little better that it's not just me having internet issues, though, I gotta say.
Well, as we
Hurts
go
a little
ahead
less.
and try to get Maestro back into the fight here, let's go ahead and head to the desk quickly with Triage. Do we have any updates from the other matches right now? Maybe a follow-up on the match we missed during the first map?
We do actually. Lynx is currently up 1-0 over Volume 51.
Ooh, all right. Looking very good. Do you have anything that you want to add there, Triage, on what we've been seeing for this map so far?
I'm in love with Corvidity's dive. It's impressive to watch. Just how they pushed into A and took that in that one fight. That was incredibly impressive. Melt is playing out of his mind tonight.
Yeah, it seems to be absolutely all over the place. And Dead Optics getting that halt just at the opportune time that the Meteor Strike was coming in allowed Melts to just go ahead and clean up the defense right there. And it looks like we're getting ready to get Maestro back in the fight there. So while we're waiting, be sure to hit that heart and punch that bell at the top of your screen, folks, because that will let you know anytime that OW Tranquility is online. We are in the playoffs portion of our season right now, and you don't want to miss any of the action that we have to dole out. You can also hit that sub button, $4.99, or a Twitch Prime or Amazon Prime subscription. We'll give you access to some amazing emotes as well as support our incredible community. And while we are doing that, looking in the chat, it seems like we actually do have a renewed subscriber, a very underscore crispy, subscribed for 8
Crispy
months.
Puckett.
8 month streak right there. Thank you so much, very crispy. We really appreciate that support. Does it look like we are ready to go here, folks?
Looks like we have one R coming out of the side of Corvidity. They're just ready to go whenever it starts up. Maestro has rejoined.
Awesome.
I should let's be super careful with me opening the lobby.
I'll keep
Okay.
my fingers crossed.
Everyone knows how that went last time I opened lobby mid-match. But it looks like they are back in the game, so I'm just waiting for an R from Venomous.
Alrighty then. So now with them being down the bongos, and it looks like we're gonna go ahead and get started. 60 seconds remaining on the clock as we essentially head into what more than likely will be final fight territory here. Um, I'm very interested to see how this is going to work out for them. Bard, what do you think the best plan of attack is for Venomous to try to take this objective?
Honestly, at this point, I want to see Maestro swap over to Rhine. The Rhine Sig worked so well for them last map. It's so great to push through these shields for double shield. With the Orisa Sigma, you can push in just more effectively. And you don't get bodied as hard by this Doomfist. You don't have to waste your halt trying not to get punched.
All right, well, we got the Venn diagram of blizzards right now on the objective as we only see the two grab being Manio and Maestro will immediately get deleted right there, and the rest of the team just falling. That's fine with the 5-man Gravitic Flux right there trying to save the day, but it just was not as it could be foretold. As the slam comes down, they go ahead and hold the objective, and Corvidity will tie up the series this evening 1-1 here on Temple of Anubis.
Yeah, a really good showing there from both teams. Corvidity looked very strong in their dive. It's a shame that this second map is so hard to play dive on. The second point. But I don't like the attacking double shield coming out of them. I like double shield if it's Ryan Sig on attack. You can push in a lot more aggressively. That shields are still with you as you go in. You're a lot more immune to CC. You could do a lot more brawl compositions, a lot more brawling damage. I don't like them trying to force the Hanzo. I don't like them trying to force the Orisa there. I don't think it works as effectively on offense as it does on defense. And I think that Venomous showed us that on their attack.
Yes, absolutely right there. That Ryan definitely could have made a lot more space than we saw. Although I do understand Maestro's point of trying to use the Orisa, especially if you're going against a Mei. That's one of the few tanks that you can use that you won't find yourself getting frozen every 5 seconds by. So it's nice to use, but it definitely just did not work out for them on the attack. Definitely should have gone in a different direction there. I do want to remind folks that during the playoffs, we will be going for a 1st-to-4 setup this evening. So we're going to have a lot longer matches in the nights to come than we typically do because we have to play out those extra matches. And with Venomous and Corvidity sitting at 1-1 right now, after Temple of Anubis, I have to say, do we feel that they're going to take it all the way there, Triage? Do you think we're going to go to like a map 7 or 8 tonight?
I could very easily see this going all the way. These two teams are evenly matched, and I want to see a lot more of this dive from Corvidity. They're doing very well with it tonight. Any map where they can exploit high ground with the success they just had with it on Temple of Anubis, I think they're going to take it. And
All
Venomous, I think Venomous has them in a brawl, but I think Corvidity can figure it out with their dive.
Oh, I can definitely concur with that. And with it looks like our next map already been chosen, the tried and true King's Row coming in for our hybrid map definitely allows for both of those. You have your typical Rhine Zarya that Venomous could definitely run, or the Rhine Diva as has been lately, to be able to hold defensively or offensively. And Corvidity using the dive on King Zero is definitely not something that we haven't seen before. The map itself just allows for so many different types of compositions to be used, and it just comes out to which comp is more effectively used during the match. So we're gonna go ahead and take our halftime break after this match. If the teams are ready and raring to go. Um, the thing that I'm thinking to myself right now is if I were Venomous, the one thing that I would want to stick with is that damaging DPS, especially if it comes out that Corvidity is going to use that dive. Triage, what would you recommend to Venomous going into King's Row for their defense against a dive Corvidity?
It's a diving Corvidity.
Mhm.
It's really tough here, given that their hit scans are out, and there's a chance we see the Echo coming in. So you're going to want to run the Ash for that, or they can run a Torbjorn. The Torbjorn would give them a great deterrent from the Echo. I would recommend the Torb, or holding a Reaper and holding behind the hotel with their supports. Make Corvidity push into them to take the point.
All
If
right.
they're going to keep running the dive, they're going to have to kill them tanks.
No, definitely can concur with that. Levi has opted into the Torbjorn, as you stated, to take care of any type of echo action that more than likely we will be seeing from Sorcery as they rejoin the fight for Corvidity right there. And it looks like we're going to see something very traditional coming out from Corvidity, coming out with the Rhine Zarya, with the Echo in tow. Khan opting into the Hanzo as well for that additional shield break. Sorcery Ore getting the first pick onto Levi's turret as the grenades going into the backline, looking to do some damage against their heals right there, but continuing to hold strong right now. Corvidity moves into the objective as the turret goes down once again. Manio able to get the pick onto Dead Optics to start off, though. So with the Rhine Ore out of the fight, going to be hard to hold. Oh my goodness, Khan already within 45 seconds. The Dragon Strike comes out, able to take down Fine, but it looks like the hold will continue on. The Anti-Nade Sleep Dart comes in on Maestro, but they continue to hold as the tackle comes in to take down Khan after PDK Kid falls. We will continue to see a hold as only one tick has been captured on Objective Alpha by Corvidity.
Yeah, I love seeing the D.Va here over the Zarya. Zarya is such a good brawl tank. She does so much damage for her team. And in a comp like what Corvidity is running, which is very damage-centric, it can work. And it is working. But D.Va just has so much more utility for her team, so much mobility, and can really play around them. But as I say that, the damage in the brawl...
And that D.Va stands in the corner and kisses her butt goodbye as they go ahead and grab Objective Alpha. Corvidity now with just a little less than 5 minutes on the clock as they head into the streets phase.
Yeah, and I just really hope Venomous isn't going to be afraid to use ults here. That Torball on its own can be a point clearer. It can be a great positional ult to use just to force the enemy team into a spot where you can just absolutely body them with your damage. PDK Kid's about to have his Blizzard, and as I say, that grab comes out, though, so what's it really matter?
Grab and 2 shatters right there. Very interesting setup for both these teams, but now the picks are coming in as we see them going back and forth, but it looks like we will see Venomous come out on top, but coming out on top while the payload's still pushing forward. I'm not for certain if that's the right word of using it. They won the fight, but the payload's still moving furiously forward as they prepare for another fight.
Yeah, what they've done there is secure themselves a position where they can actually take a fight before point 2 is capped, which is a great fight to win. It's really good for your team. Maestro, though, you gotta not get slept as much. He hasn't blocked a single sleep dart on himself, I think, the entire match. I'm pretty sure Fine has eaten 1 or 2, but that is about it. But we are gonna see the D.Va Bomb go in here.
And that's going to be huge. Fine's going to go ahead and take down Legs as we now see the D.Va come in, or sorry, see the Ryan come in for Sorcery. They're going to push in, look and see if they can get that Shatter, just barely getting out of the Blizzard. Not able to get that Shatter in time, unfortunately, but does take down Manio. Dragon Strike coming in on the objective from Khan looking to see if they can get a pick of their own, but the rest of the team is just too separated for that Dragon Strike to work as effectively as they'd hope. But the picks are coming in right now for Corvidity as they go ahead and clean up the objective. Anti-nade coming in from Jackrabbit allows them to take down Maestro. Beat drop now in from Keo, looking to see if they can hold together as Absent able to get a pick onto Dead Optics, but they're going to continue to fall as the push into Objective 2 looks like they will grab it.
Yeah, PDK Kid started that fight off so strong. That wall was beautiful. Sorcery Pepe had swapped over to the Reinhardt, built that shatter so quickly, and the wall just went up right as they were going for that shatter to block it. No shield required from Maestro, sorry. And then he throws that Blizzard in, and maybe it was defensive, but it didn't do enough.
And it looks like Maestro gonna get shattered right after that Nano comes out, but it looks like they're gonna hold strong, getting the double kill as they push Corvidity off the objective. Manio able to follow up onto Jackrabbit, but Fine is gonna end up falling to Sorcery right there as we see the push coming back in from Corvidity.
Yeah, and PDK Kid, I love the swap over here to Echo from him. A lot more damage for his team, a lot more point presence that he can provide. But unless someone else on his team starts popping off, there's not going to be much they can do against this formidable push coming out from Corvidity.
That's true. The Graviton Dragon Strike combo will never be unmatched in this fight as they get the first 2 picks, allowing them to go ahead and hold on to the objective. Corvidity in the final stretch as the Nano comes out. Dead Optic tackles Maestro into oblivion. Fat Finger Shatter, I guess, ends up going into a side wall instead of into anyone. As we see now Fine able to touch the objective. Levi swapping over to the Ash now as they try to move their way in. BDK getting ready to come up on that ultimate as Sorcery and Dead Optics just cleaning everything up. The objective will go ahead and push into its final resting spot with 2 minutes, 23 seconds on the clock for Corvidity.
Yeah, and the story of that fight is just damage, and not even damage heroes, just the damage that each comp can supply. Corvidity is running a composition here that is purely based around the idea of doing as much damage to the enemy team as possible and not stopping until they're all dead. And it's working. You got Rein Zarya, a great tank duo, a lot of damage output there, a lot of damage potential. Ryan can just swing his hammer forever and just hit everyone, which is insane to me. Ban him, please. Get Cryptic Force out of my games forever. But then you have legs, locking the Zarya, not the legs. And that beam just so charged all game from Levi's turret, from PDK Kid on that Echo, from the swings coming out of Maestro. Just so much beam damage onto those shields, so much damage onto the back line when he just pushes right through the shields without a care in the world. And then Khan and Sorcery playing the Echo and the Hanzo, 2 notorious dueling heroes, so much damage and shield potential against them. Just absolutely dominating against their DPS counterparts. And honestly, if Jackrabbit were a weaker Ana, it couldn't work. But Jackrabbit hit, I think, an ante on at least 3 or 4 people in pretty much every fight there, was sleeping Maestro consistently, was keeping his Rhine up pretty much the entire time. And just absolutely fantastic gameplay coming out of him, and he was the linchpin for that composition.
I can definitely concur with that, and it looks like we're going to see a mirror coming out from the side of Venomous as they go ahead and move in with a Hanzo Echo of their own, and it is looking to be fruitful right now as Maestro tackling into the far door, looking to see if they can get an additional pick. That Fire Strike will meet Khan as they go ahead and furiously grab Objective Alpha and already push into the streets for an early defense.
Yeah, and
and it looks like the fight is already ensuing once again. A huge anti-nade comes in, will take out Maestro as Sorcery is able to get that pick into the side room, but with Objective Alpha captured and 5.5 minutes on the clock, honestly, I think it's a loss that they can accept right there. But it looks like, Corvidity, not even worrying about the choke, is just gonna push straight through the choke, looking to see if they can get some additional picks. We will see Absent fall there in the end as they go ahead and try to regroup on the other side of the Alderworth Hotel, preparing for this next fight.
Yeah, Venomous basically just saying anything you can do, we can do better, running the same comp, playing that high damage output. And Corvidity is saying, fine, all right, we're doing that, and they swap over to high damage output on their own, and they're bodying Venomous now.
Yep, and that is huge right there. Legs and Dead Optics all getting picks on the objective as the Nano comes out from Jackrabbit, and that is another hold of the payload right there in the choke door. 4 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Dead Optics has just looked better than Maestro here.
That has been huge. Maestro just constantly getting slept. The Shatter did not end up finding its way in, but Maestro will grab the Shatter instead. Graviton now coming out with the Bob as well. Dragon Strike from Levi, though, looking to see if they can solidify as the Bob soloing, holding the point right there. Able to get the pick onto Maestro, but it will not be enough as they go ahead and work their way into the streets with 4 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, PDK Kid with a great swap over there. Puts the damage into the Grav before swapping, immediately goes on to the Reinhardt, gets the swing fire strike that you need to secure that ultimate, and then just shatters into the Grav. So even though the Dragon got there right as the Grav was ending, the entire team was on the ground. They couldn't get up and run away from the Dragon there, and secured those 2 kills. So just a great play from him. And then Maestro DCing again there.
Oh, looks like it. That
I was gonna say, weird not to fight back there.
Yep.
And then the game paused.
Yep. It looks like we're gonna have another DC that we're gonna have to hold on for here, folks. Go ahead and continue to stay with us, and it looks like we have already an interesting ultimate usage on the field. Fine, getting the Nano from Absent as soon as the fight ensued onto Maestro right there. So I'm interested to see what they're planning to use that for, because typically you'd want to throw that to your Ryan. Thankfully they didn't, because Meister ended up DCing right there. But throwing it to your Zarya against a Ryan Zarya as well. Like, I know that Fine has a high damage output, or Zarya has a high damage output if they're in those higher percentages of power threshold. Do you think that Nano will be enough to kind of shred through the tank line that we see coming out for Corvidity?
It's very interesting because honestly, the Nano Zarya not always a throw pick. I can totally see a situation where, and this is from my DPS perspective, I am playing Zarya and I'm high charge, and I just say I'm in a good position. I'm high charge. They don't have a shield. We're going in, and then I get the Nano and I just try and take the fight. What I hope didn't happen is that Fine got that Nano after the DC, like after Maestro actually stopped playing, because then it really is a wasted ultimate. But if it was as Maestro was DCing or before they DC'd, the damage potential coming out of a Nano boosted Zarya and the how quickly you can rebuild that grab with it is great. It's really good for you.
All right. Let's go ahead and check in with Triage on the desk while we're waiting. Do we have any updates from our other matches there, Triage?
Well, yes, Jack, we do. We have Illusion tied now 1-1 after a map of Hanamura with Southlaws. And we have Paradise now up 2-0 over Get Off My Land.
All right. Goodness gracious.
Our last game is also 1-1 now.
Oh, all right. So it looks like we've got action all over the place this evening throughout all our tiers here at Overwatch Tranquility. Definitely going to be interesting to see how those matches end up going in the way of success rate. Right now it looks like Paradise looking to make it just a clean 4-0 sweep. I do want to remind everyone that this is a best of 4 situation, so we could be here for quite some time, depending on how many back and forths we see between Corvidity and Venomous. But It looks like we do have Maestro back in the fight, though. It is already a 5v6 on the objective, but they have 3 minutes 40 seconds to be able to regroup and push back in once again. What do you think the success on this current push is, based on where the ultimates are there, Bard?
Well, Con and Sorcery are definitely close enough to get their ults here, and a good dragon can decide it, honestly, or a good Bob. But other than that, it really comes down to Maestro DCing here. Dead Optics is 55 to his ult. A good fight, and you've got your ult. And Maestro is going to be late to this fight, not on his team, with no ult charge here. So that really could just be a fully deciding factor.
All right, well, we do see the trade come in between Fine and Legs right there, and Legs will come out on top. It looks like Maestro will rejoin the fight just soon enough to get tackled by Optics as they go ahead and push them back to the choke here for objective number 2. 3 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, and again, Jackrabbit also building that ult there, and Dead Optics already at their ult. The ult advantage just clearly in the favor of Corvidity here. It's going to be really hard for Venomous to push their way into this, unless Fine can build a grab real fast and just do an absolutely outstanding grab dragon combo with Levi.
Well, the Bob coming in, but immediately takes a nap thanks to Absent. Khan taking down PDK as, wow! A fat shatter coming in from Dead Optics just goes ahead and secures the point once again. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock, and still a good series of ultimates in the pocket for Corvidity.
Yeah, again, still the Dragon Nano. Legs looks like they're going to be building up their grab before Fine, so the Grab Dragon probably coming out faster from Corvidity here. Unless Fine can really do something incredible here, it looks like Corvidity have at least one more fight in the bag.
And there it goes. Grab Dragon, if I could speak correctly, goes in. The Maywall tries to save. Grab Dragon in the reverse is Fine, and Levi just go ahead and clean it up. Regardless, they hold on strong. The Maywall separating out Dead Optic as PDK Kid grabs that final pick. Objective 2 will be captured, giving Venomous about 3 minutes to move into objective number 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was intentional by Meister or not, but they jumped on top of the cart and just got nailed in the face by that Graviton, and no one on their team got caught in it because of that. And they gave up their life to secure that fight, and that was just fantastic if it was on purpose. If it wasn't, it's so lucky for their team. But either way, just a great showing from the main tank to keep their team in it.
Well, it seems like we just see a mirror of ultimates coming in right now. The beat counter the anti-nades, which then counter the nanos that come in on the Reinhardts. But a fat shatter coming in to solidify for Corvidity goes ahead and cleans up Venomous once again. Levi able to get a couple of picks before they meet their team in the team kill back in spawn. 2 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, Venomous is going to have this Grab Dragon again much faster. PDK Kid also building towards the Blizzard, which can be a fight winner, but Dead Optics just showing why he's looked so much more dominant on the main tank over Maestro. Another huge shatter that just secures that fight win for their team. Fantastic gameplay.
Oh, the Bob getting slept in the backline, ends up getting interrupted by PDK, who was trying to freeze them out. Ends up getting the double kill in the backline as the rest of the team falling to Corvidity's response in the front lines. 1 minute, 40 seconds on the clock as they prepare for another push.
Yeah, and Levi has just done everything he can on this Hanzo. He's got a couple picks every fight, but Legs with the flanking grab. PDK Kid with the wall to keep his team in, though, and now Dead Optics in a very poor position.
The wall saves the day in the Grab Dragon, but not soon enough. I almost thought that Maestro and Fine were going to be able to get out of that, but they have shaved another 20 seconds off the clock. But now we see Venomous coming in with quite a bunch of ultimates in the pocket. to take this objective back.
Yeah, and honestly, PDK Kid had the right play there, but Dead Optics got the nano. That extra damage was available for their team, and there was just there.
All right, the Shatter goes in, ends up getting nothing but shield, so the Graviton Dragon getting a pick onto legs right there. Shatter goes into the backline from Dead Optics, but the follow-up not so much as they end up getting taken down by Maestro with the beat drop coming in from Manio. They're moving their way into objective number 3 with 20 seconds remaining on the clock. Blizzard looking to hold off the spawn as much as possible as Maestro taking a nap on the objective once again. Now grabbing the nano as Levi back in as the Tracer. Ends up getting the pick onto Dead Optics. Another fat Shatter coming out. Grabs nothing but air as the Bob ends up getting sent over the side with the nano by Manio. Just taking them completely off the objective. 2 ultimates being cleared out. Now we're seeing legs coming back into the fight as the Winston just trying to hold on to the objective as long as possible. 0.17 meters on the objective right now as PDK and Maestro swinging hammers and freezing people over and over again. The picks have to be coming in strong from Khan right now as we see Sorcery coming in on the Doomfist, gets the uppercut onto Maestro, but ends up getting taken out on their own. Jackrabbit able to follow up with the Deathfall, gets the double kill as now fine. Back in as the Winston trying to hold on to the objective with Manio as long as possible. They're so close, yet so far away as overtime continues to tick away. The Shatter comes in as Fine continues to touch the objective, but that is going to be it, folks. Corvidity taking the lead 2-1 here on Kings Row.
Absolutely insane hold there coming out of Corvidity, and that really is the spawn advantage there. It's essentially a 2 CP once you get down to that last point. Your spawn is right on the payload, right on the enemy team, and you swap to heroes like Tracer, you swap to heroes like Lucio, you swap to heroes like Winston. You get out on the point insanely quickly, stop any chance that the enemy team has of just rolling it in through with a clean fight. You play those staggers as effectively as possible, and eventually your whole team comes out there and you get those picks. And mistakes happen. We saw the Bob get booped in right as Nano was attributed to them. We saw Sorcery throw themselves off the map as which happens all the time to the best of us, is what I tell myself when I do it. But but still, you have that spawn advantage. They had the ult advantage. That Optics had Shatter coming into that second stall there, and it was just all that they needed to just roll over the enemy team.
That definitely shut everything down there. The only thing I probably would have recommended was PDK using the Blizzard on the objective to try to prevent them from pushing in on it, but I don't think it really would have made a difference that much. Let's go ahead and throw it to Triage once again before we head to our halftime break. Triage, how's our other matches going there?
We have one update for you, and it is Paradise and Get Off My Land are now 2-1 at halftime. Get Off My Land, full holding on Blizzard World.
Whoa! Alrighty then. It looks like Get Off My Land is not out of the woods just yet as they make their first victory of the evening. Definitely interested to see where the rest of these matches will go, especially Venomous versus Corvidity. We're going to go ahead and throw it to a quick 10-minute break. Be sure to grab a drink, use the restroom, whatever y'all need to do. We'll be back with more amazing action in about 10 minutes. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to this amazing matchup going on in the Transcendence tier playoffs for the Overwatch Tranquility tournament. We have Venomous versus Corvidity. Corvidity currently up 2-1 prior to the half after their match on King's Row, being able to get that final hold on objective number 3, giving them that beautiful lead that they're holding on to right now. I'm your play-by-play for the evening, Captain Jack, joined by Bard on the analyst and Triage on the desk. Triage, do we have any additional updates after the half from our other 3 playoffs matches going on this evening?
Well, yes, we do, Jack. I've got an update for you from the South Laws and Illusion. At halftime, after Blizzard World, the South Laws are currently up 2-1.
Ooh, all right. Southlaw is looking to take the lead right there. It seems that a majority of our matches tonight are seeing this balance, and uh, I've seen this before in different playoffs matches. Either we will continue to see this balance moving forward, or one team after the half is just going to absolutely dominate. So I'm really interested to see what might be coming out this time around. Our next map is going to be Escort headed to Dorado. And based on what we saw from Corvidity, I feel like this is going to be an easy day for some dive action. That's just kind of what I see coming out here. Bard, what do you think we might see from Venomous and Corvidity on this map?
Well, what I want to see is the dive coming out of Corvidity. They have looked really strong with it. There's a lot of great places to run dive on Dorado. It's a really good dive map. And what I want to see out of Venomous, I want Maestro to pick up the Reinhardt. I want Fine to play the Sigma with him, and I want them to run the Rein Sigma, brawl really hard, just beat the dive as it comes in at them. The way they kind of did on map 1 when they turned it around, but Maestro has to pick up his Ryan performance. He's looked like he's being just absolutely outplayed by Dead Optics here, and it's really unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I feel like it's not even more so Dead Optics. I feel like it's against Jackrabbit, because somebody get Maestro a freaking energy drink or something, because the sleep darts were coming in huge, hot, and heavy every time that they started engaging in those fights, especially during King's Row. And Jackrabbit, as you have said before, with those anti-nades has just been huge. Like over and over and over again, getting 2 or 3 picks every time the anti-nade goes down is definitely anything that will continue to turn the tide as we head into now this attack on Dorado. And it looks like, unfortunately, not a lot of dive action, but a couple new heroes in the pocket. Levi and PDK Kid coming out on the Ash, and Junkrat with, oh no, it looks like Khan is going to go ahead and opt over to the Tracer and work in that back line instead. The payload's already moving its way into the choke right now as Dead Optics and Keo holds strong, but PDK able to get that grenade past that shield, ends up getting the pick onto Keo as Levi follows up on Jackrabbit with no heals on the objective right now for Corvidity. It looks like they're going to have to back off as Levi ends up getting the kill onto Melts with the dynamite right there. They're going to have to back off just a little bit so that they can regroup for the next push.
Yeah, this Junkrat, as familiar to PDK Kid as the Genji is here. Both players looking like they're going for some comfort picks here, trying to get the damage in, but can. But Levi, a great first initial showing on that Ashe, but Absent has to stay alive a lot longer there. Losing that Baptiste means they have to start playing slower, backing up a bit, giving up ground, and that's just not what you want to do on the defense here with Double Shield.
Absolutely. 2 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock as we see the re-engage come in. Hakan able to get the pick onto Absent, and PDK with the pulse bomb in the back line, as Fine able to hold strong in the front. Bob now coming out as we go ahead and see the hold coming in. Levi saving the day right there, and Fine pushing them up to the choke right now. The Bob's going to go ahead and retreat back to the spawn as we see another fight coming in relatively quickly. The dynamite comes in from Levi, gets 3 as they go ahead and continue to try to push that payload in. Nano now going in to Dead Optics as we see the swap over to the Zarya. Gravitic Flux coming out, but Transcendence saving the day. Shatter comes in, gets nothing but shield though. Is Khan able to take down Levi and Absent in the backline thanks to an anti-nade from Jackrabbit, and the rest are just gonna fall as team kill rings loud and proud for Corvidity, grabbing objective 1, giving them 4 minutes to push into objective number 2.
Yeah, and at this point, I'm really not sure how I feel about the Babs. They're clearly running dive DPS to exploit them. They're gonna just continue to push back onto Absent, onto Mineo, and get these really easy first picks essentially here. And if you lose Absent early in a fight and shield without your Baptiste, there's not a lot of healing left over for you with just that Zen, and there's not a lot that you can do to stay in the fight there. You have to continue to back up, as we've seen. So Venomous making no swaps, not really what I'd like to see outside of the Torp.
Well,
swap.
actually, we do have a swap because Levi decided to go over to the Swedish engineer Torbjorn. So we got Turret on the high ground right now. As we saw them trying to fight their way onto the high ground, ended up being unsuccessful for Corvidity. Tire now coming out from PDK, ends up getting the pick onto the high charged legs. So that's going to be a good place for them to start as they move their way back into the objective. It looks like Corvidity going to go ahead and ease off right now as they wait for their teammate legs to get back in the action.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure how I feel about holding on to both these supports. We haven't seen them use their ults yet. We haven't seen how effective they're going to be. Melts, though, we also haven't seen the Nanoblade, so maybe they're trying to save Trance for the Nanoblade with the Eye Field. Maybe they're trying to just play a higher damage comp so that they can pressure them down, keeping PDK on the Junkrat. Either way, it doesn't seem to be working that effectively right now. Legs is just farming charge, and now we're going to finally see the Trance come out from Keo.
Ends up solidifying the Gravitic Flux right there, holding everything together, and now the Nan out from Melts, looking to see if they can get that pick, but really got to stay off that ground to stay away from the molten core that was on it. It looks like they will go ahead and solidify objective 2 right there, which was looking a little dicey, giving them 3.5 minutes to push into objective 3.
Yeah, and we are going to see Mineo and Absent swap, which I really like here. I like the Moira swap. Really helps you with that Genji, gives you some mobility to get away from those dive supports, or those dive DPS, sorry. And Mineo on the Brig, that's a lot of healing uptime for your tanks. It's extra damage and extra CC for your team. And again, it just really helps you counter these DPS that have just been absolutely dominating the supports in the backline.
Yeah, it looks like we see the Pulse Bomb already coming in, gets nothing but shield there for Khan as the Tire comes out looking to see if it can grab someone, anyone on the right now. Ends up getting Melts, who is in the backline actually, taking down PDK Kid while they were in Tire. It's a 5v5 right now on the objective as the anti-nade comes in onto Maestro as we see them continuing to fight their way in. Levi able to get the pick onto Dead Optics after the tackle onto Manio, and they're going to go ahead and hold this objective right now, just about 20 meters shy of objective 3.
We see the swaps come out here for Venomous, and they just look like a different team. They've swapped PDK Kid over onto the Hanzo. Absent and Mineo have swapped, like I just said, and it's just a different playstyle for them. It's working a lot better against this kind of high damage dive DPS kind of hybrid composition coming out from Corvidity, and Khan has swapped over to Reaper. That's a lot of damage against Double Shield, a lot of damage against those tanks and against Brigitte. But I still think that they're better set up here with these new DPS.
All right, well, Nanoblade and Trans and Graviton all go in as the Gravitic Flux tries to prevent, but with not enough room to really raise Melts away from the team, they still end up getting a triple kill with that Nanoblade. 1.5 minutes remaining on the clock as they push into objective number 3, and we barely see Maestro and Absent able to touch the objective Graviton coming in, taking down Levi there for legs as Khan cleaning up the rest of the objective on that Reaper. They will grab objective 3 with a team kill in the pocket and 1 minute and 7 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, you know, right as I start to say I really like this composition here, Corvidity just comes in, they have all their ults online, they hit Q, win the fight. Not really much you could do there if you're Venomous. They don't have any defensive ults from their supports because they're running Brig Moira. They didn't have nearly enough ults for their tanks to keep them up. They had no DPS ults available. And really just the ult economy was all that was required by Corvidity to win that fight.
And the positioning on the high ground was really interesting to me. I've never seen a defense set up on that high ground as a way to prevent them from moving into the choke. Now, I understand high ground control is always important, but to have your shields on the high ground instead of in front of the cart, why is that positioning better for them?
It's just the comp that they're running there. They're running the Torb, they're running the Han. They've got these ranged DPS that do a lot better when they're forcing the position changes out of the enemy team, trying to position around them mid-fight. And so if you get the Hanzo, you get the Torb set up, you have the turret in a position where it's a lot harder to pressure it down because you can just put the turret on the far side of the map and play up top. And then they can't turn around. They can't avoid you as a team. That really can be dominant for your team. But it just didn't work. Again, they had more ultimates. Corvidity read it really well. They knew that they'd be up there, and they knew that they could just brawl harder and just push in.
All right, it looks like we're going to see a battle of the Echoes once again with PDK Kid and Con 204 moving their way in on those computerized beauties of the sky. We already see the payload moving its way into the choke for objective 1 as Khan getting the pick onto Manio in the backline. Immortality comes up but immediately gets destroyed by Maestro as Khan and Levi trade blows on the objective right there. It's a 4v5 fight right now as we see Melts and Khan trying to get into that backline by using the high ground to their advantage, but it looks like we're going to see the pull off from the side of Venomous as they regroup for another push.
Yeah, and again, Khan just looks better than PDK on this Echo. It's more damage being put in, more pick potential coming out there, but absent. Without these support ults, you have to be using the Moira ult defensively, and it's just not happening. And now that's probably going to be the end of the fight there for Corvidity, winning that fight.
Yep, the Shatter ended up going into the shield there for Dead Optics, but now Khan coming out with a Shatter of their own. Again, gets nothing but shield, unfortunately, as they go ahead and clean up regardless, taking down Maestro and Fine. The 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Venomous is really going to have to figure out how to put their fangs into that objective.
Yeah, Levi playing Reaper here, hoping to put pressure on the tanks, stop them from being able to play as aggressive so that the picks on the DPS can happen, so that the supports have to panic and play around their tanks here, but it's just not happening. Jackrabbit is able to play just as careful as they want, no worries there, and Khan can just put the damage in.
And the Nano Blade comes in once again, grabs Manio and Fine as the anti-nade ends up taking down PDK. Graviton comes out as well. I'm not for certain if that was just a fat finger or what.
It's for the mind games there. Leg solo ulting Levi, trying to get inside their head there. Emotes immediately afterward. They're just trying to play 5D chess here when they're already winning normal 2D chess.
Yep, it looks like that will be the case then. 1.5 minutes on the clock as we go ahead and see the re-engage from Venomous. PDK Kid still working on that first configuration ultimate as they move their way in. The bongos end up getting popped from Manio. Anti-nade coming in huge though for Jackrabbit, but getting taken down by the Coalescent. Absent getting the double on the heels for Corvidity. That's going to give them just what they need to push into objective number 1, hopefully in time to grab it before the minute's up.
Yeah, and it's really not what you want to see, but the contest is coming out here, and the Shatter is big for Dead Optics.
A fat Shatter along with another Shatter with from Khan able to grab that second configuration just in time. 1.22 meters remaining on the cart for Objective 1 as Venomous is in final fight territory.
Yeah, and before they cut me off there with that contest, I was about to say, really unfortunate and a really strong showing of how much more dominant Khan is on the Echo over PDK Kid, that Absent has to use their ult to kill the supports there. PDK Kid not able to get in the back consistently, not able to take those supports down the way the Khan is, and just not doing nearly as much damage. But Levi coming in here with Fine, doing an admirable effort of trying to keep them in.
All right, well, it looks like they've gone ahead and cleaned up the objective once again. Levi able to get that final pick onto legs, grabbing objective 1, adding 2.5 minutes to that time bank as they go ahead and start pushing into objective number 2. PDK Kid holding on to that ultimate again for that fight. I'm really interested to see if PDK will swap off after using that configuration ultimate.
Yeah, with Levi swapping over to the Genji, I'd love to see, or the Tracer, sorry, I'd love to see PDK Kid swap over to the Reaper there. It's a really good dive counter with dead off, both swapping a dive now. And I'd love to see Fine actually stay on the Reinhardt here. I think Maestro can stay on this Winston, put the pressure on the Genji, play a bit more defensively with their team, and let Fine kind of, weirdly enough, play Reinhardt as an off-tank heal for their supports, kind of play back on the point a lot more effectively and keep them alive. But as we say, this Keo gets the first pick into Maestro and some ults are coming in.
And the Nano Blade, Diva Bomb, all going into backline as PK coming in on the Diva now with the configuration, trying to hold on. Diva Bomb goes high, but way too high. Grabs nothing but air right there as they go ahead and retreat back to the safety of their team. 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining on the clock as Corvidity takes control of the objective.
Yeah, and Fine is going to swap to Diva, and they're going to run the full dive here. PDK Kid swapping over to Hanzo, but it's 2 ults here versus maybe 3 if Khan picks the right target when they configure, and Dead Optics can build fast enough, but man, it's not looking good for Venomous.
Alright, well, they have one chance, one opportunity to push in. The Primal Rage coming out for Maestro as they go ahead and push everyone into the side room. Diva Bomb now coming out from Khan, coming in as that Diva, looking to see if they can clear things up. Now the beat drop coming in from Manio, looking to save the day as Levi gets the first pick on Takayo. Fine and Absent following up as Melt's now in on that Doomfist, doing damage, punching people out, gets the pick onto Maestro, but objective 2 will be captured by Venomous as they push their way into objective number 3.
Yeah, I really want to highlight there the main supports for both teams. Jackrabbit, as we've said this whole time, has looked so strong on the Ana. Absolutely incredible gameplay, keeping their tanks up, getting those antis on the enemy team consistently, getting those high priority sleeps when they need to. But Absent here, top it over the Moira, has had a coalesce pretty much every fight, has done a lot with their coalesce damage-wise and healing-wise, and has done really good to keep their backline secure from Melts, playing the Genji and now playing that Doomfist.
Ooh, the Dragon Strike coming out from PK Kid ends up meeting only defense matrix from legs, but Levi and Khan end up trading blows in each other's backlines right there as the Pulse Bomb ends up getting the Immortality Field. DDK now working in the front line, looking to get some picks as the Diva Bomb goes up for legs, gets nothing but shield in the air. Khan now cleaning up the front line. Oh no! As the Diva Bomb from Fine ends up just barely perching on the high ground, getting nobody and nothing right there. Absent and Melt trading blows on the objective right now as they work their way back in. 30 seconds remaining on the clock as this fight continues to hold strong. Levi able to get the pick onto Melts and Khan, so the DPS are down. Nano now going in onto legs as the anti-nade ends up hitting Fine. Pulse Bomb doing some damage to legs, but not enough to take them down as the Shatter comes in, takes down Maestro as well as the tackle, but the beat drop from Manio saves the day, allowing them to take down Dead Optics instead. Meteor Strike coming into the backline ends up getting nothing but damage not a pick to be had until they take down PDK. Fine following up onto Meltzo. Overtime ticking away as they push into objective number 3. Shatter comes in, ends up taking down Jack Rabbit. As the Blossom follows up on Manio, another Diva Bomb from legs, able to take down Levi, not able to get that recall in time. As overtime ticks away, nobody on the objective for Venomous, and Corvidity will take Dorado, making it 3-1 in the series this evening.
Yeah, again, Khan has just looked dominant on this DPS. He's allowed Melts to play heroes not maybe conventionally considered meta. He's been able to play these comfort picks of Genji while Khan has been playing Echo and just absolutely dominating on their team. And then he picks up Reaper right during that last fight, stays alive for almost the entire round, and just absolutely secures it with that ult there at the end to take down the main tank and let that Diva Bomb go in. So just fantastic gameplay coming out of him.
That is absolutely huge. But now we're heading into danger territory right now for Venomous. This is a best of 4 series, and with Corvidity up 3, Venomous really has to find a way to bring it back as we head into our next map. And if I understand correctly, it's going to be another control map. So it's going to be picked from the remaining 2 maps for the side of Venomous. So we'll see what they end up coming out with this time around. Triage on the desk. How are our other matches going this evening?
Yeah, I've actually got 2 updates for you here. We've got the
Awesome.
Volume 51 and Lynx Esports game. They actually had a draw on Kings Row. So it is 1-1 at the half.
All right.
1-1
with the tie.
1-1.
All righty.
And then we have an update from Paradise and Get Off My Land. Paradise took it, and it is 3-1 now.
All right. So Paradise's game and Corvidity's game looking to be on par with one another this evening. A tie, though, for that Lynx Esports game does show that we might have some extra content after this match is finished up, but only if Venomous can't bring it back in this next fight. Triage, what would you recommend to Venomous to be able to shut down all this immense amount of damage that's coming out of Corvidity?
They just need to be more aggressive. A problem they had on their defense was playing that incredibly passive double shield comp. They just gave Corvidity all of the space that they needed, and which their comp would have been fine had Corvidity been running a full dive comp, but they were running a hybrid. And they just gave their tanks all the time they needed to just set up and take space, while the DPS line just got in position and took them out, and it worked all the way through to the end of C, when they just lost one fight, but then came back because they had ults and took it. They just have to be a lot more aggressive with what they're doing. I say they keep trying to brawl them, stay off the double shield, maybe with the Orisa at least. Try a Reinhardt Sigma if you want to run 2 shields.
Okay. All right. Well, we will see if Venomous will take that advice as we head to our control map, Busan, for our 5th map of the evening. It's definitely going to be interesting to see how this turns out. Venomous was able to bring it back 2-1 on Elios. So if control is their jam, they could still have a stake in this match this evening. They still could hold strong if they can grab this map and just keep the victories rolling in. But as soon as Corvidity grabs one more map this evening, it is going to be game over for the playoffs for Venomous, and Corvidity is going to be moving on to the next round. So go ahead, start blowing up in the chat. Who do you want to see take it? Do you want to see Corvidity take to the skies and grab this victory in the playoffs? Or do you want to see Venomous sink their fangs into Corvidity and take their spot in the playoffs moving forward? Bard, what do we see coming out for the teams here as we move into downtown?
Well, honestly, I think Corvidity might actually run this with Melts on the Doomfist, Khan on the Tracer. He's looked dominant on everything he's played so far, and with the Ryan Zarya here, I think that's a good. It's a good high damage comp, and the dive, the traditional dive, is going to be coming out of Venomous, with PDK Kid playing Doomfist instead of Genji here. It's the only real change.
All right, let's go ahead and see if they can make it happen. The dive moves its way to the high ground aggressively, as Fine getting the first pick onto Melts already makes it a 5v6 fight. We now see PDK Kid moving into that backline, slamming Kaio straight into an oncoming train, but Jackrabbit ends up getting the pick onto PDK Kid in return. Control continuing to hold as Absent grabs the double kill, with Levi following up onto Dead Optics. Melt's able to get back into the fight, but just soon enough to die as Control is grabbed by Venomous.
Yeah, and a real big change there coming out of Venomous is target priority. They seem to have taken the time after the last map to talk about who's causing the most problems to their team, who they need to focus first, who's most vulnerable. They're getting in there, they're getting those first picks as effectively as they can on the right targets, and it's working out really strong for them.
All right, well, Melts and Maestro trading kills right there, with Levi and Melts now getting kills of their own. Legs coming back in as the Hog this time around, ends up getting the pick onto Absent as they look to take control of the objective. Only find the DMEC Diva being staggered out right now as they continue that percentage climb. The hook coming in as Kaio able to get the final blow on PDK. Control will swap over to Corvidity, 5% and climb.
Yeah, the Roadhog here, sometimes it looks like a throw pick, but I actually really like it against Dive here. Shuts that Winston down really early, can mitigate that Doomfist presence from PDK Kid. He's already forced to swap onto the Reaper, and just can do really good to take those supports like Lucio, like Moira, that can be so strong in avoiding your damage, and just absolutely take them out of the fight early. Really a strong pick, if you ask me.
All right, Diva Bomb coming in from Fine just for the quick remac as they go ahead and engage the objective. Meteor Strike for Melts, looking to see if it can grab some damage. Will end up getting the pick onto Manio, but will have to retreat for safety as they go ahead and get picked off from Levi. Shatter, though, coming in from Dead Optics, but they're alone. I'm not for certain what they were going for there. They're able to get another 20%, but Control will swap back over to Venomous as they restart their percentage climb.
Yeah, that isn't all you're gonna want back. There's not really a question there. That's just not one you want to use there. It's not one you want to use alone. But if you're gonna swap to Orisa, you might as well try and find the maps.
It looks like that is the case. We see the beat coming in from Manio as the Pulse Bomb looking to grab some damage with the Coalescence. Manio able to take down Dead Optics, but the Blossom from PDK is not strong enough for Legs, and that hook shot right there gonna go ahead and get a second pick onto Manio as well. Legs is hungry for some damage right now as they go ahead and push their way into the objective. Coalescence now coming out from Jackrabbit as they go ahead and make their way into the objective to grab control. 97% in climbing right now as they swap it over right there at the end. PDK continuing, trying to get back in soon enough, but is unable to do so. The beat does come in from Keo, though, probably unnecessary just due to the fact that the fight was already won, but they will get the boop there onto PDK for some satisfying damage.
Yeah, that's one you're gonna want back. The beat there really late in the fight. A really strong defensive ultimate. But the only thing you're really gonna want to use it against coming up is maybe Absent, using that Moira Coalesce combined with Maestro. Absent has done a lot of damage with their Coalesce in the past, but Fine with a darn fine bomb coming out there.
That is beautiful right there. Ends up taking out the tank line, but Melts and Khan showing to be tanks of their own right there. End up taking the objective and holding control as they go ahead and DMEC and take down Fine. The only one left near the objective right now is Levi to just try to keep it going. It's 98-99 right now as overtime ticks away. Legs able to get the pick onto Absent as soon as they make their way in, and now it's whole hog and nothing but the hog as Jackrabbit unleashes the Coalescence and the bongos get dropped from Dead Optics. 100-98%. Corvidity will go ahead and take this objective.
Yeah, and honestly, the bomb coming out there from Fine, it got good picks, it got both the tanks, but it really shows the utility that D.Va provides when she's not in those fights with you. The bomb's there, D.Va can't be in mech, she can't be absorbing that damage, she can't be booping people away from you, can't be peeling for your supports, and Khan and Melt just realize that and think, oh, well, if you're not going to eat any of our shots anymore, we're just going to shoot the rest of your team while you kill our tank and win the fight on their own. No tanks necessary because there's no D.Va there to mitigate any of that damage. And as much as those big bombs look great in those situations and they make you feel really good as a player, sometimes it's better to just stay up and defense matrix your team.
That is true. Levi coming in now as the Doomfist ends up getting the initial pick onto Khan. PDK swapping over to that Sombra for this fight, looking to see if they can keep Corvidity in the spawn right now. Maestro did get anti-nated right there, but able to hold off thanks to the hack from PDK Kid, and it looks like control of the objective will go ahead and start off for the side of Venomous, but Legs getting that pick onto Levi is going to be hard to hold on to. PDK and Khan trading blows as they take down Melts and Maestro, as now Corvidity moving into the objective, going to look for that early grab of control. Now Levi just diving in, trying to keep that percentage going, but at 16%, it will swap control over to Corvidity.
Yeah, just a really good showing there. Legs just showing how much damage the third DPS of that Zarya really is for your team. Dead Optics again looking dominant on that Reinhardt, already having a shatter ahead of Maestro, and Maestro won the first fight, so that's it's a really good showing from him. And PDK Kid, let's hope that's not Maestro again, because he has shatter, and that would be a huge, huge loss. Nope, it's gonna be Khan. Okay. That would have been really unfortunate if that was Maestro again. It's gonna be Connor Tees, or not Connor Tees. That's a Harmony tier player. It's gonna be Con leaving the game. Yeah, same thing at this point. Who cares? 50% to that Reaper ult, so not the biggest loss on your team. If you lost Dead Optic or Legs, who's 90% to the Grav, that would be a huge loss for your team. But it is gonna kill the momentum of the defenders here. Con out right when they were trying to sustain in this choke point, hold up, do the damage. Absent's going to be able to just tear through their team now without a care in the world with that more lessons. And it's, unless Dead Optics hits a fantastic shatter here, which he's done a number of times, very possible. I can't see Venomous losing this.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing right now is the fact that Dead Optics currently sitting at half health is going to have a hard time holding on. So let's see if they can make do with that, as Khan is now back in the fight. The Nano ends up going in onto Dead Optics. Shatter comes in, gets nothing but shield though, as the Graviton gets invested by Fine, as well as the Shatter from Maestro as well. Fine is cleaning up as the Zarya right now, as Khan able to get the pick onto Levi and try to sustain that point just a little bit longer. Absent will get the double kill, grabbing the objective once again for Venom.
Yeah, but Absent going off the map there, that's really going to be a stagger on the main heals though, but PDK looking for this EMP here and gets it, a huge EMP there. Dead Optics staying alive and the beats come out from both teams, but Melts really has to build up the counter EMP now that he swapped over to Sombra.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was not good planning on their part. The EMP hit everyone except the one person that you really need to prevent from any of that happening. Melts does come in with the configuration to Sombra as well, but ends up being unneeded in the end as they go ahead and grab the objective with their pure aggression, meeting the percentage of Venom.
Yeah, Venomous, again, Absent going down so late in that fight off the map. I'm not sure if it was forced or just an error on their part, but that's such a huge amount of healing for your team. It's a lot of utility and damage that you're not going to have early in that fight. But as I say that, Maestro hits a huge shatter.
Man, playing a symphony right now, and a shatter in return, but gets nothing but Maestro. PDK cleans up Dead Optics before they're even able to touch the conductor of the damage train right now. 50% and climbing as Corvidity retakes control, or sorry, as Venomous retakes control of the objective.
Yeah, Dead Optics really living up to the first half of their name in that fight there. They got shattered, stayed on the ground the whole time, stood up, shattered, and then just immediately died. Not exactly what you want out of your tank, but he's looked better all night, so you can't really hold it against him.
Woo! Got some Pulse Bomb Graviton action, getting the double kill in the back line with a Beyblade in the front between Khan and Jackrabbit right there. It is now a 1v3 on the objective as Levi just tries to keep that percentage going right now for their team. Khan able to get the pick on them as Melts ends up falling to the fire strike of Maestro. Back in the fight, Sleep Dart comes in as the Shatter now coming in with the nano beat drop to solidify for Manio. Control still being held by Venomous. They have the ability to take it, but Legs and Khan bringing it back right there is Jackrabbit bringing the heals and the damage right now, able to take down Manio. Control will swap back over to the side of Corvidity as the beat gets used at the end of the fight.
Yeah, Kaio, I'm not sure you want to use that beat there, but you know, maybe with the Zarya being up, Fine was very high charge there. You want to make sure as many members of your team are alive for this next fight as possible. So maybe the beat, you know, used adequately there, especially knowing you have the grab for this next fight.
All right, well, the Graviton comes up, ends up getting 3 with the Blossom soon to follow. Trying to grab the objective and successful is Venomous as the Pulse Bomb takes down Dead Optics, but unfortunately, they are not able to hold on to the objective. PDK trying to come back in to keep it going, but now we're going to see it swap back over to Corvidity. Overtime ticking away right now. This is Venomous's last chance, final opportunity to be able to continue on in the playoffs. They have to be able to take this map as the Nano now going in onto Dead Optics. Legs cleaning up everyone and anyone around, and that is gonna be it, folks. 4-1 here on Busan. Corvidity will take it away and move on to the next stage of the playoff.
Yeah, it really came down to the difference between the main tanks and the main supports there. Absent played out of their mind on Moira, but just did not look as good on Ana as Jackrabbit did. Jackrabbit played a fantastic game that entire match. Absolutely incredible. The antis, the sleeps, the pure healing output, they just looked absolutely insane compared to just anyone else in the match, honestly. Jackrabbit would be my MVP if I had to choose. But Dead Optics as well just looked really unstoppable on that Reinhardt. They blocked a lot of shatters. They took it on the chin for their team just a number of times. A lot of the time with Reinhardt, it's not about blocking all the damage. It's about dying for your team in the best spot possible. And Dead Optics sometimes just did that better than Maestro. And nothing against Maestro, they played a fantastic game, but just nothing you can do when Dead Optics is playing like that.
Yeah, I have to say if I had to give my MVP for the evening to someone, it definitely would be Dead Optics. Again, those fat shatters, that patient aggression, being able to bait out Maestro over and over again, and just being able to re-engage very quickly and get the picks needed. I would have to give my MVP to Dead Optics. So go ahead, pop off in the chat who your MVP would be for the evening. We're gonna check in with a triage real quick. How are our other matches going before we find one to jump into?
Well, we have Volume 51 and Lynx Esports at 2-1, and we have Illusion and Southlaws currently tied 2-2.
Oh, okay. So it looks like we've got some interesting matches going on. We're going to go ahead and throw it to a short break as we figure out where we're going to be headed next. We want to give you as much playoffs action as possible. So we're going to throw it to a quick break, and we'll be back with more amazing Overwatch Tranquility action.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Overwatch Tranquility. I am still Bard with you tonight, and I am joined by Captain Jack, who's actually going to be taking over Analyst, and I'll be doing the play-by-play for us tonight. Who are we going to be watching now, Jack?
All right, we are headed into the match with Illusion versus Southlaws, currently sitting at 2-2 in their series. It looks like they had a DC as we headed into Ilios. So far, it looks like Illusion started out with a victory on Nepal against the Southlaws, moving into a 1-1 tie on to Hanamura. Southlaws then took the lead on Blizzard World, making it 2-1, and then another tie-up coming in from Illusion on Route 66.
Yeah, and now with it looks like we have Southlaws up 1-0 over Illusion on map on their control map on Ilios here, and now they're going to be playing in Lighthouse. I'm not sure how I feel about the Fine Hog, but hey, we'll see how it goes. As they get into this first fight, and it's going to be the Rhines dueling first. Ghost Pants is going to take down Hysteria with a Will Place Punch, and now Player going for the tackle there. The charge on Reinhardt, taking down Shiny Flower, but Shiny Flower trades back, takes Player down with him. Mammoth Gamer takes down Kingdom. Awakening takes down Poochie, but Blur takes down Ghost Pants, and now it's just Klaus. It's just Klaus and Awakening left alive. Awakening the map, and Klaus can't contest here, dies to Mammoth Gamer. Drugs Not Hugs gets taken down by Pegapants before they can come in here. And Southpaws are going to take the first fight.
And I think that that's interesting positioning on their part. Plus the different heroes that they ended up picking. We see the traditional Rein Zarya with the Reaper May, which is definitely good in close quarters brawly situations where we see Ghost Pants as well as the Awakening coming out on the Doomfist Hanzo, requiring a little bit more distance, a little bit more damage over that way. But it looks like a tackle off the map for Player there might provide them the advantage they need.
Yeah, Player takes them off the map, but Mammoth Gamer gets that first pick onto Ghost Pants and goes for the grab there just to keep them off the point. And now the freeze is coming out. Kingdom does get frozen, but stays alive long enough to get 2 picks on Mammoth Gamer and Poochie. And now the Moira Coalesce has to be committed by Hysteria. They're not going to take anyone down, but they are keeping the team up for long enough. Klaus takes them out, and now Shiny Flower left alone on point. Not quite alone. Not quite alone as their team comes back in there, but Player is going to take out Blur. The Rhine v Rhine battle in favor. Klaus is going to trade on to Shiny Flower. The Lucio v Lucio also going to Illusion. Kingdom takes down Poochie. Player's going to take down Pegapants, and the stall is finally going to be ended as Awakening takes down Mammoth Gamer. But Beer Pressure able to hold there until 69% there on the point.
Southlaws, actually.
Southlaws are going to hold until...
Yep, Beer Pressure's another match we've got going on this week. So believe me, folks, we are trying to keep everything as straight as possible for you. But I got to say, it is definitely Kingdom Come that allowed them to hold on to that objective. Kingdom with the double kill at the beginning. And then the freeze came in from Pepega, but then they didn't follow up on the picks. But now with the Blizzard and Beat to follow, let's see if they can keep it going.
Ghost Pants capitalizing on the grab there. Coming out from Kingdom, another huge grab, a huge play from Kingdom, and Ghost Pants capitalizes, gets 3 picks, and Drugs That Hugs and Shiny Flower, Klaus are able to clean that up, and just a very clean, quick fight coming out of Illusion there.
The Blizzard was an interesting choice of positioning right there. Typically, you want to use it when you're already engaged on the objective, or at least you have everybody grouped up, but everybody was so separated, it was hard to find any value out of it. Now the Nano going in on Awakening, looking to get some damage in that backline.
Yeah, Awakening taking down Shiny Flower, a good early pick there. No Lucio means no speed. It's a harder engagement. And now Poochie looks like they want to try and frontline, want to try and trade that pick, but they're going to have to back up. And Southlaws really are going to force themselves into a one-fight situation here as they wait for their Lucio to come back. And now that Shiny Flower's with them, they want to continue to engage around this corner, but these sight lines are so much longer, and Illusion are going to be able to hold this. And now Hysteria has to commit the Moira ultimate here just to keep their team in, and the beat also coming out from Shiny Flower. and Pegapants trade out 2 for 2 on both of them, 2 picks for each. Blur takes down Drugs Not Hugs, and now it's just the Awakening to hold the point, but he gets taken down by Shiny Flower, and Soutlaw's going to take this, but it's only a 1-fight game now.
That is right. Using both those heal ultimates just to be able to engage in the objective is going to put them at quite the disadvantage. Although Klaus and Drugs Not Hugs don't have their ultimates online either, so it's really going to come down to the use of the Death Blossoms and the solo Graviton we see for the side of Southlaws.
Oh, the grabs come out from both sides. Kingdom is definitely bigger, and the ante comes out, but Poochie trades on a Betrayer. Awakening with the ult on the point gets 3. Poochie trades for 1. Pegapants trying to stay alive to stall for his team, but he cannot. Absolutely destroyed by the sleep dart of Drugs Not Hugs there. And now, I don't think Southlaws are going to be able to touch here. Oh, they are. Shiny Flower manages to get back onto the point. Right at the end, has to stay alive to keep contesting for his team there, and now Poochie is back. Mammoth Gamer takes down Awakening. Blur gets Klaus on the charge there, and Ghost Pants manages to take down Shiny Flower, but it's not going to matter. Kingdom and Player doing everything they can in the tanks to keep their team in this, but no, Kingdom's getting a frozen and taken down, and now it is just Player alive for Illusion on the point, frozen and taken down by the D.Va and Southlaws. Somehow managed to win that fight and keep their team in this, and it looks like they are going to win Ilios with a fantastic recontest.
That was really interesting. I did not see the fight going the way it did. We started off with a shatter that came out from I think it was Blur there at the beginning of the fight, and didn't manage to get a whole lot of value. Spray moved in underpowered right there, but then somehow we're able to take it back despite the fact that Player's Shatter landed too. They got the picks needed before the Shatter came down, and it was literally a 3v1 fight at the end of all that. Player ended up falling, re-grabbing the objective just at the end, and now we're sitting at a very similar situation to where we just came from between Corvidity and Venomous, where it is going to be up to Illusion to be able to bring it back in the next 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely. Big plays coming out there. I really don't know how you're expected to not feel a little down. It's definitely going to be a mental game here for Illusion. We've seen them trade maps. Essentially, this entire game has been just map trading. They've gone Illusion, Southlaws, Illusion, back and forth, and Illusion has to keep themselves in this mental. If they don't, then it's really going to just be a hard struggle to come back into this if they can't stay out of their own heads and just keep playing their game.
I can definitely concur with that. Let's go ahead and throw it to the desk with Triage if you're still with us there. How are our other 2 matches going for the evening? I think one of them actually finished before we got in here.
That is correct. Paradise and Get Off My Land. Paradise had won 4-1. Right now, Volume 51 and Lynx Esports are now tied 2-2.
It is very interesting, the mirrored matches that we have going on. The Venomous and Corvidity matching Paradise and Get Off My Land, and now we're seeing this Illusion Southlaws be Volume 51 and Lynx Esports just kind of matching out their battles. Although I believe Volume 51 is or the Volume 51 Lynx Esports matchup is sitting with that draw, though. So we're in an interesting position for them. They're just lagging a little bit behind where we are with Illusion and Southlaws.
That is correct. And if that last round we just saw there on Ilios is any indication, the rest of this series must have been really exciting. And I really want to know where this goes.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be interesting. It's been such back and forth between these 2 teams this evening. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see the action coming out, but we are going to see some swaps coming in, though. It looks like we're going to have Honey and Booth and NT Sal coming in for Illusion, as well as Friend Juke Juke gonna be coming in for Illusion?
No,
If you're
I should not be on the team. They have made a mistake.
No, Juke is taking over for me.
Yeah, when I came in here, Juke, for some reason you were set to only spectate Illusion, which is something I should actually keep because I've just become your coach.
Going in.
Oh,
I'm going in. I'm playing.
Juke's getting thrown in. We're just gonna make this a casters versus match after the end of all this. Goodness gracious! So it looks like Wah is going to be coming in instead. With all the swaps that we're seeing from Illusion, again, we don't know the history, so we don't know who all played on the maps that we saw before. But I'm going to imagine that if this is how things went the first time around for Illusion, that they're swapping these players in based on their victories, then Kings Row, which is going to be our next map, it should prove to be quite interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting as we come into this. Really interesting to see too. Kingdom looked really strong on that Zarya from what we could see, and the immediate swap of him out seems almost counterintuitive for how they're doing.
I can definitely concur with that. Kingdom was holding incredibly strong during the match that we saw there on Helios, able to, those very effective bubbles, keeping that high charge for a majority of the fight. But if they've been as close as we've been seeing throughout the entire night, maybe they're looking to swap compositions. Maybe Kingdom is more of that traditional grounded player with the Zaryas and the Rhines, and maybe what we see coming out now from the other players of Illusion is maybe a dive composition. Maybe we'll get to see some more dive action as we head into Kings Row.
Yeah, hopefully the dives looked really strong tonight from every match that we have had the privilege of seeing. But also, it's Goats Row, right? You run the fake goats. You run the Ryan Zarya. You run.
Yeah, I really feel like that is what will work out for them on the defense here if they continue with that Ryan Zarya play. And it's just it's traditional with Goats Row, Kings Row, Scrims Row, whatever you want to call it. If you're not playing Ryan Zarya, it just seems like there's something wrong. It feels like there's something missing here. But we are going to go ahead and head into Kings Row now as they go ahead and get set up for round number 1. I want to remind you once again, please hit that hard and punch that bell so that you are in on this action. The playoffs, have been incredibly back and forth so far. We've seen 2 teams come out on top fairly quickly and 2 other sets of teams really duking it out. Which means that I'm hoping by the time we get to the end of the playoffs, we have literally the best of the best, so evenly matched that it could not be any other way but drawn out to a map 7 or 8 to see who will get that final victory. And looking at these teams right now, it looks like we're seeing very similar compositions, except for the heals for the most part. We do have the Awakening coming out on the Hanzo Vice, Pega Pants coming out on the Reaper, so looking to do more damage over distance, Vice damage in your face. And then the healers, Hysteria and Honey, opting for the Moira and Anna, respectively, looking to do pretty well as they move into this objective.
Yeah, and now Pegapant's going to just be super aggressive on that Reaper, chasing down the Zarya for the enemy team. Mammoth Gamer's going to trade out on Nixal as they take down Hysteria. So the main support down now for Southlaws, but the main tank down for Illusion. We're going to have to see what is more. Wall coming out, trapping Booth. And now Booth having to, having to use the wall of their own to keep their team in this. And now the freeze is Booth is going to be able to secure that with the Zarya beam, the pure damage output, but already almost 3 ticks taken. Awakening takes down Pegapants. No more Reaper in the backline to do that damage, but he takes down Booth. and it is still almost an even fight. And now no one is able to touch the point. It's just Klaus having to stay on, keep them alive as Nixall comes back in. Poochie, though, takes them down. Poochie looking so strong on this Mei, manages to stay alive with the ice block. The anti comes in on the both tanks of South. Nixall manages to take down Blur, but no, Poochie already with the Blizzard. No, not Poochie, sorry, was Blizzard, as Poochie takes down Honey. Poochie managing to stay alive still, though, as Nick gets taken down, and now Booth manages to take Poochie down. Finally, Awakening takes down Hysteria, but Pegapants is now back in it. Managed to take down Booth before Klaus takes down Pegapants, and it looks like Southlaws are finally going to be pushed off this point, but they almost have 95% already.
Wow, just Poochie just continuing to stay strong and up during that entire fight right there. And now we're going to see them re-engage with the Blizzard. Could be you.
Already, Poochie using the wall to isolate in the Blizzard to take them down. Both supports, Honey and Klaus, being taken down in that Pegapant. Wah still alive as Booth gets taken down by Poochie. Wah getting stalled out just a little bit as Southlaws managed to take that point.
And that's literally all they needed. They knew that if the battle went the way that it went the first time around, that it was really about keeping them off the objective. With only a tick left to be had on Objective Alpha, they just needed to keep them off long enough so that they could grab it. Stalling out the kills until after the objective was captured, giving them time to push that payload right now into the streets.
Yeah, now it looks like Illusion are going to be able to take the fight on this first set of corners around the tavern on streets. Nixall getting a little ambitious there with the charge as the grab is in a very strong charge. And now the Beat and the Blossom and the Shatter are going to come out for Southlaws, and it is more than enough to clean up the side of and as Squid also managing to take down Awakening, and Southlaws just looked dominant in this fight.
Honestly, that was a battle of the Qs right there, and with 5 ultimates being thrown out by Southlaws, it's hard to prevent all that damage from being able to shut anything down. But they have a Blizzard and Beat to come in with, but getting picked off early is not going to be a good start to that. Ooh.
Oh, Wah tries to get the Blizzard out there, but actually gets taken down by Squid Zero before it lands, and now they've capped the point. Southlaws just a blistering pace setting here on King's Row, and what can Illusion do to stop this?
Honestly, I'm not for certain here. I feel like the best thing that has been working for Southlaws vice Illusion is just the fact that they keep separating out the main tank from the rest of the team with those Mei walls. They gotta look and see if they can be a little bit more effective, but a Shatter coming into the backline might turn things around.
Booth gets Poochie, but Pegapants gets Wah and Honey. The main support down again for Illusion. Booth managed to take down Pegapants. The nanoed Rhine there doing a lot of damage. Followed up on by the Zarya, but both supports and both tanks are still alive for Southlaws, and that's more than enough damage and healing fight if you play it out properly. Blur being aggressive gets 2 with that Shatter, a huge Shatter. Klaus gets taken on early. Awakening forced to pop the Blossom in the backline as him and Wah both take down 2 of their own to secure that for Illusion, but man, they managed to make that as close as possible.
That is true. It was a continued back and forth right there, but with heals down for either side, it was really hard for tanks to re-engage right there. Wah initially was going to come out as the Ash, but then swapped over to the Doomfist, using those walls to their advantage, and now a huge Graviton.
Oh, the Blizzard and the Beat. Nixall stuck so far into it, and now Wah is well taken down. Booth manages to trade Poochie out, but they don't have a Blizzard. Doesn't matter. Booth committing the ult there, the Graviton Surge on the point, but he just gets taken down. There's nothing he can do. Awakening on the Reaper trying to carry alongside his team, but it's just him and Klaus alive as they try and reset here. How are they going to be able to do this? Klaus tries to touch a point, but Squid just takes them down, and now Booth being chased by that Moira ult as Blur gets the double on the Shatter there, sorry, and he takes down Awakening and Wah, both DPS down for Illusion as Honey and Booth also taken down. Hysteria popping. Less but Klaus with 2 big boops there. Poochie and Squid Zero taken down to keep his team in this, but it's not gonna matter. 2 big picks are nothing when Southlaws are just rolling through the point, and they managed to cap all 3 with almost 2.5 minutes left.
And that was really close right there. They almost ended up getting the 3rd pick there onto Blur as well, but as we know, Reinhardt with that boop, even with the recent nerf that we saw come out. Regardless, as you was saying, Southlaws really holding their own right now, despite everything that continues to come out, continue to being a strong show of force right now. I'd have to say, if there was one thing that really could shut this down, is if we could see Honey with some more anti-nades going into the team when they're getting aggressive. If Southlaw comes in and immediately is getting anti-naded, it's going to be really hard for them to continue that aggression as they move in to try to attack. But now they're going to be holding the defense, and it looks like we're going to be seeing some echo action for this map.
Yeah, Pega Pants previously in the last week that Echo was in looked really strong for on that Echo. So a really good swap here and a lot of pick potential coming out with the Echo, especially with the Mei in game able to really just put the pressure on the tank line, not let them get let them peel for that Echo damage. I really like this comp coming out of them. But again, Doomfist has equal pick potential and can just bully your backline, not let you have any room to move around. So we'll just have to see how exactly these two play out together. As the initial fight starts, Nixall being a little aggressive, trying not to let his shield break, trying to get in there. The wall comes out to try and separate, but no, Nixall actually gets separated far more than Blur does, but Nixall with a counter charge, so well done as Waw does the aggression in with him on that punch, takes down Poochie. Awakening takes down Mammoth Gamer, and Illusion look like they're going to set the blistering pace here as they take first point on King's Row.
And that's exactly what I'm talking about right there. Honey with the anti-nade right to the face of Blur ended up preventing any healing that could have happened. And Saul ended up sending him right into a wall. Taking out your main tank is the best way to grab objective alpha. And now they've got 5 minutes to work their way through the streets.
Yeah, but I like the change here. Pegapant swapping over to that Reaper, just brawling a little more heavily, seeing that they're not the Echo, seeing they're not running anything that you need the Echo to counter. And now they're just going to go in on their team, but Waw onto Hysteria in the backline. Mammoth Gamer trades out. Trying to put the team on his back with this Doomfist gameplay as he goes in just with this extreme amount of damage. Blur tries to shatter there, but it's not going to matter. Booth takes him down, and Awakening takes down Mammoth. Booth also looking super strong here, playing around Waw, getting that bonus damage, taking down Squid at the end there. And Illusion just don't look like they can be stopped here.
Despite the fact that Sal ended up getting taken down at the beginning of that fight due to that tackle, they ended up continuing to show strong. Booth with that high charge working in comparison with Waw. And now we have a Grav Blizzard Meteor Strike combo that could solidify objective 2.
Yeah, and there comes the grab, but a huge Maywall coming out from Poochie there. Absolutely fantastic. Poochie gets the nano too. They're just trying time, but Awakening's going to use their Blizzard first, and it's going to be 3. Ensol just swinging as Blur, Squid, and Mammoth go down. Pegapants and Poochie, though, are keeping their team in this fight, and now Ensol is probably going to drop here as the freeze is on him, and Awakening goes down as well. Hysteria pulling out the gun on the Nano, or on the Ana, and saying, I can shoot people too, and I'm going to shoot your team while they're frozen.
And it definitely ended up working out for them. I'm not for certain if Poochie using the Blizzard there at the end was necessary. I mean, it was just Anti-Sal on the objective and against the 3 of them to be able to hold on. But as they go ahead and re-engage, I'm betting they're probably going to wish that they had that.
They do have the grab here, and they're going to build up for Pegapants' ultimate. They do have a strong combo here. It doesn't matter, though. The beat comes out when the grab goes in. 3 people by Poochie. Backline, and the shatter! The shatter is huge from Blur. Takes down 3, and they're all down. Ensol, Booth, and Wall, and Awakening all going down as Southlaws just collapse on that shatter so efficiently and take them down as soon as they hit the ground. Some great damage and a great out there from Poochie to freeze the Reinhardt so he can get shattered while he's in that grab.
And that was incredible timing right there. That's the best thing that you want a Mei to be working on when the Graviton is out. Not going for those headshot picks, but literally freezing the entire team. So even if that shatter wasn't online, everybody is stuck in one position and you can still dole out that immense amount of damage.
Yeah, and now Pegapants on the high ground, looking for a spot to just drop his ult down onto the enemy team, but the Blizzard is going to come out of Awake. It's going to be and the counter Blizzard coming out as well as Pegapants' Reaper. Death Blossom takes down Wall. Nixall goes down as well. Booth managed to take down. But now that the Blizzard is off the field, Illusion look like they have nothing to work with, and they are just pressured back by Southlaw so quickly.
Yeah, it just seems that the aggression is coming out from Southlaws to keep them at bay right now. It's a version of anything you can do, I can do better right now. Let's hope that the shatter is fat and it will be cleaned up upon.
Oh, but Nixall, he doesn't manage to get enough there, and the Reinhardt is going to be nanoed. Blur getting the shatter onto the enemy team as well. As soon as the fight starts to look dire, Southwall's turning around with a good set of ultimates there, and now Wah taken down by the Reinhardt, trapped by that Mei wall from his own Mei. Awakening not doing anything to help their Reaper out, and now Poochie, who's gonna have that wall to try and separate there, and now Klaus stuck in the back of that because of that wall, and Poochie has the ice block, so Awakening forced to use theirs as well. Ensol's gonna get back onto the team, but no, Poochie takes down. Ensol's gonna have to back up because he doesn't have the support of his Mei there any longer, and now, how are Illusion gonna dethrone Southlaws as they've just claimed the payload for their own?
Yeah, 5.5 minutes now shaved down to a minute on the clock right now as they're looking to re-engage. Ndisol trying to go in, but ends up getting separated out by that Mei wall once again. That is literally something that continues to shut them down. The Awakening really needs to be getting up into that front line, making sure that Blur is the one that gets separated out from the team and not the other way around.
And Blur is getting separated. He's just not getting separated as quick and as efficiently as Ensol is. Ensol seems to really want to be the playmaker for the team. He wants to go in, and as I say this, he goes in again, but the Blizzard combo again comes out from Southlaws. The beat comes out from Clouds, but there's no way it's going to be enough as the Shatter also coming down. Poochie managed to take down Booth, but Awakening takes down Poochie. Some even trades there as Pegapants tries to spin his ultimate, but no, he's antied and frozen. Wall takes him down, and now Illusions with some sign of life as Squid Zero and Blur with the double fire strike takes down Ensol, finishes up on Honey with a nano boost coming out from Hysteria, and right as Illusion look like they have a chance to take that, Blur and Hysteria put themselves just out of their way to do the damage there, and Southlaws are gonna win the map and the match.
And that was clutch right there from Hysteria. They were literally on the brink of death right there, and that nano turned the tide, allowing Blur to go ahead and bring it back on the objective. It was absolutely huge for them. The aggression from the Southlaws is showing to be very strong, and now they're going to have a chance to show it as they move on to the next round of the playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. And Juke, why don't you hop in here with us? Just give us your thoughts about this match, but also let us know what's happening with the other ones.
Looks like no updates on the other matches. As far as what happened here, I think it's the same problem we've been seeing from Illusion basically all season. Lots of pop-off potential on pretty much all of their players, but I feel like they're trying to force it just too often. Everybody's going a little too far, trying to do too much because, quote, the team needs it. But when people play like that, you just fall behind, you waste ultimates, you waste time, you get staggered, and these things just build and build. And unfortunately, that leads to getting a slower time, or in this case, not capping the map.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so we don't have any updates on the rest of our game, but we have seen the previous game with Corvidity, and we've seen this game really just run some close matches. Do you expect that in Discord and Transcendence tier going forward, these matches are going to continue to be really close, take us to map 6s, map 7s?
I can't say what has happened in the other matches. I was busy with other things, but the playoffs tend to transform teams. We see different teams come out when they're under pressure. Sometimes that leads to people playing very well, communicating better. Sometimes that leads to breakdowns, leads to missed opportunities. Uh, the most important thing is they tend to be pretty damn entertaining because everybody knows the stakes are very high. Definitely not as high as they were last season. I think it hurts when you get knocked out after playing for what was it, like 15-week regular season.
Yeah,
But
15 weeks. Whew.
yeah, I mean, it still hurts. This isn't a community where there's much on the line for surprises or anything. I don't think we have any. But there's a lot of pride. I mean, it's tight knit. And for the most part, everybody just wants to show off in front of their friends. And you don't get to show off when you lose and you get eliminated.
That's yeah, that's the truth, honestly. Yeah, really interesting games coming out here. We're hoping to get an update on our last match, which I believe is actually Beer Pressure playing versus
Nope.
someone?
Volume 51 versus Lynx.
No, it's not. Beer Pressure play tomorrow. I just
Yeah.
really want to watch Beer Pressure
You
play
just
Overwatch.
really want to watch
okay?
Beer Pressure,
I
apparently.
just really want to watch Beer Pressure, all right?
They do have a nice logo.
They have a great logo, and they've got some great people on play Overwatch. No, so it's Volume 51 versus Lynx Esports, which is 2-2. Last we got an update. They could still be playing that map 5 for all we know, or map 6 actually. They had
Map 6, because they actually got a tie on Blizzard. Where they,
Yeah,
they
so
both
we
held first point 1 and 1.
if that map 6 is still going, then this could be a great match to hop in.
Yep, we're trying to see if we can get into that match right now. I gotta say, this Illusion Southlaws match was showing to be incredibly strong for either team. Southlaws, though, just having unbridled aggression during the last moments that we saw, especially on King's Row. Just seemed like they could do everything they can to be able to push against what Illusion was bringing out, despite the fact that one of the supercharged Zarya's booth continuing to try to fight back as much as possible. Just it was unbridled, the amount of power that continued to come out from Southlaws between not only their tank line but the DPS of the May Reaper combo. I think what we want to do is throw it to another quick break while we wait to jump into their game. Again, they're probably in the middle of that map 6 right now, but we'll bring it back with some more Overwatch Tranquility action here real soon. Stay tuned.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to into our third match of the night. We are going to watch the end of Lynx Esports versus Volume 51. I'm by Playcaster Bard, joined by Captain Jack. Jack, how you doing?
I am doing all right. After 3 hours of this, though, I'm getting a little winded.
Oh,
But
yes.
I
Just
mean,
wait until the grand finals.
I mean, you can't give up good Overwatch action though, which is why we're jumping through all these hoops to give it to y'all, folks. We've got Lynx Esports versus Volume 51 currently ahead right now as we see this interesting dive coming into the bunker.
Oh, yeah, but big bump on that brig. Big boop, sorry, on that brig. Able to get down Magic, I want to say?
I'm going to say that that's the case.
That's probably what it is. We'll figure it out as we go, though. As Volume 51 give up the first pick, now Lynx Esports take themselves into a better position. They do manage to get down there before the payload can start up the hill now. The dive composition from Volume 51 looks like it wants to flank here, and they are flanking. They're going to start to drop. But the pull gets two of them off the high ground. A great play from Tony there, and Joe to follow it up, taking down Mustard Man Ezekiel, managing to take down Pade's eye field, but Joe just continuing to wreak havoc down Pinhead as Big Boop again takes down Nikolai, who's out of their mech, and Lynx look really strong here.
I have to say that was a little surprising that Nikolai's defense matrix didn't end up eating that halt that came in from Tony right there. I was expecting them to get that eat, but I guess the trigger was just pulled a little bit too early for them to eat that up. Ended up getting them on that low ground and really shutting down this push. It's going to be hard for them to get out of that underground.
Oh, Ezekiel gets the first pick, a great pulse bomb onto the May of Rosen. Joe to the Diva, and Tony can only takes down Turu, but no, it looks like Lynx Esports are still down here. They're going to need a Herculean effort coming out of this Brig, Orisa, Bap trio stuck in the bottom. And right now, they're not dying, but they aren't able to secure these picks either. The rally coming out from both Brigidas, Pinhead, and Big Boop here as Ryan comes back. Payne gets taken down by Pinhead, but Tony can coming out here gets 4 for the side of Lynx Esports as they just clean up Volume 41 with a great stall and recontest.
Magic was doing a great job with that Primal Rage, keeping a Pain, Tony, and I think it was Ryan in that side room right there as they were pushing the payload. Unfortunately, they allowed Rosen enough time with that Blizzard to be able to get back in the action, and that really shut them down. If they're going to push in on this, I would recommend switching off the dive.
Yeah, the dive here doesn't seem to be working. Tony can only committing the Orisa ult. The Maywall is going to block the Diva Bomb from as Joe 45 takes down Mustard Man, who had that visor, had to be looking to use that. And Joe 45 is also, with the stun assist, going to take down Ezekiel, who had the pull from both DPS outs out of this fight early. And Volume 51 have to just reset here, as Pinhead is going to be staggered so brutally by Rosen's May. Ryan also taking down Magic. Joe takes down Turu. It's not even over. The fight just continues to stagger.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not for certain what Magic was going for right there, but it looks like they're going to give up the ult economy to swap over to a double shield comp with a Rhine Sigma, also with Mustard giving up that visor to swap over to a Junkrat so that they can take down the shield that is Tony right now. And now they're working with gas right now. They're working their way into that window.
Oh. The Bap ult comes out early from Tony Cannoli, draws the entirety of Volume attention, and then Joe 45 can just peek from the side, get that early pick, and help them win that fight. Ryan takes out Mustard Man, and Joe and Ryan are both going to commit the ult. The shotgun's going crazy for both teams here. Ezekiel trying to get a big pulse bomb, but Joe 45 absolutely annihilating the entirety of Volume 51, and they get held under the bridge.
Lynx Esports is just showing to be an incredibly dominant force on this map, and you know, when you get into the playoffs, sometimes it's about map, or it's about match longevity. When you play 1, 2, 3 maps, it's a good warm up and you really get into it. But sometimes when you get into those later, those 5, those 6s, those 7s maps in a row that you're fighting the exact same team, you kind of get a little worn out. And I feel like that might be what we're seeing here from Volume 51. Lynx Esports ready to go the distance, holding them at 59 meters, probably one of the lowest distances that I've seen from a team on Objective 1 for Watchpoint Gibraltar, except for like a full hold here at the very beginning of the map. So it's really going to come down to the strategy of Volume 51 to try to hold this choke point right here, or at very least keep the underground protected for them to be able to keep that payload from moving to its final resting spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like the double shield coming out here. I like keeping Pinhead on rig with the BAP, and I like Ezekiel on the Reaper. The Tracer just wasn't getting the pick potential that you need. You need those first picks in the Tracer. You need the damage on that backline. It just wasn't happening with Big Boop on that Brigida. So now we're gonna have to see exactly how they're gonna be able to shut down Joe 45. He's looked so dominant as well.
Well, I think between the Reaper and May, they might be able to successfully do that. They are giving up so much room at the beginning of this fight, but honestly, they have no other choice. The Maywall is going to separate out, though. Let's see if they can
Joe
get back
45 with a huge boop as they come in this, and Big Boop taking down Pinhead. Turu takes down Pains, I feel, but Joe 45 and Big Boop are just going to continue to dominate Joe with a third in this fight, and Rosen and Ryan end of the map and the match. Lynx Esports cleaning this up really quickly as soon as we get in here.
Yeah, that's just goes to show that whatever happened before now definitely isn't what we're seeing now, because it has been a back and forth between these two teams. Even got a tie 1-1, a full first point hold for both teams on Blizzard World. So, again, I feel like we're at that longevity aspect, Lynx Esports, obviously well practiced and playing for, hours on end. They've been going since 8:30, so we're reaching like the 3-hour mark of straight play here. Volume 51, looking like they're a little worn out, I guess. I'm not exactly for certain, but Lynx is going to continue to hold their playoff spot as they move into the next round of play.
Yeah, absolutely. Lynx just looking really strong there, and it looks like they're also just more willing to run with these comfort picks. Roadhog, not always what you might anticipate in these compositions. He can do a lot of damage, but he's not always the best pick. But Joe just pulling him out, looking really comfortable, landing all of their hooks, doing a ton of damage against a lot of picks, playing out of their mind on that Roadhog. It just looks like there was nothing that Volume 51 could do to stop them.
Nope, unfortunately not. Those hooks will get you every time if you're not watching out for it. Looking at our next match for the week, tomorrow night, the match that Bard is absolutely excited for because they've been talking about it all night tonight. Beer Pressure versus One Tricks in the Discord division. Seed 11 versus Seed 14. And I have a feeling that based on all the action that we've seen so far tonight, we're going to be going in one of two different directions. Either we're going to see complete domination or very close to complete domination, or very much this back and forth dance between the two teams to see who's going to come out on top for the playoff.
Yeah, absolutely. We are also going to have the Iris podcast, I believe, is going to be next Monday, and I don't think we have a beat drop this week on Thursday, so that should be everything. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight. I have been Bard. I've been joined by Captain Jack. We've had a couple people on the deck tonight. We've had Juke and Trio helping so much, and we've had the illustrious Cavalier who has been running the stream for us. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night, and be good people.